Yes.
No, it's
Yes.
not. It's about control.
Yeah.
No, it
No.
is not. It's about control.
So
Being
when
able to
men rape
grape
other
somebody.
men,
It's about
straight
control. And
men
look at
don't
the,
rape, but a straight man ain't raping another man. That's not what straight men do.
yes, they do.
Those are not
All the
straight men.
time.
They're not straight men. They're
It's
not
about,
straight.
that's because it
Those
has
are that
nothing
is
to
a
do
gay
with
man
sex.
raping. That is a gay man raping another man. That is a
But
gay.
Chad,
He
it
is not
has
straight.
nothing to do with smex. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with control.
Baby,
Where is
things
that
our
most
thing
likely to
don't get
happen?
hard if it's not. If our thing don't get hard if it's not horny.
Oh my God. Oh
It
my
don't
God.
work like that.
Okay. Okay. So what is the best actually? Okay. So that I love the jokiness of that, but
Like,
we're
no,
not
it's
like,
true.
let's just be so for real. But no, it's
true.
about
That's the way
control.
it works. No, our things don't just get up just because we want to control something. No matter what, it's not going to work. We have to have a sex. Y'all don't know how they work. That's how they actually work.
Okay.
You have to be
Okay.
into that sexually. You will not get an erection. This is the way it works. Ask any man.
Okay. No. Yeah. So you have to be sexually attracted to a snake. You have to be sexually attracted to a pig or a sheep, or is
There's
it that because you don't have access to the hole that you actually want, any hole will do? And in
That's
a
not the way it
situation where
works.
men are graped, when men are graped, it's usually inside of all same sex situations
Right.
in which they are not able to have control over anything. Therefore,
That's
they
that-
grape because it's a way of controlling somebody else.
Because
Grape,
that is a gay
schmedophilia,
man.
all that stuff,
He's
it
gay.
has nothing to do with sex.
But he's
It has
gay.
everything to do with control.
He's
Okay,
gay.
so if a man grapes both female and male children, is he gay?
He's a pedophile. Not the same. Your
Oh,
sexual
okay.
being attracted to a child has nothing to do with the sexual orientation of a person. A person that's attracted to a
Okay,
child,
and
they
graping
like children.
somebody has nothing to do with sexual orientation either.
No, never said that. Graping somebody has to do with sex because you
No, it
have
doesn't.
to be
It has to do with control.
you want. It's a,
It can be a matter of using control to
No,
get
it's
sex.
about establishing. Okay, the most
As a
perfect
man
way
with a
of showing
penis?
your control over somebody else is taking their ability to consent to you. Is
but
being
men
able
don't
to
think about
dominate
all
their
of that.
body without their
No,
consent.
men don't think all of that.
Okay,
Men
all right.
see,
So
men
then
see
why is it
it's-
that that
it's
happens?
sex. Because
Well,
they are
why is it
horny
that
and they
we
can't get
find
their
that
woman.
in all? No. Exactly. That's what I just effing
Horny.
said. But
Horny is
also, you're
about
putting
sex.
it into a situation in which they don't have any control over anything else.
It's a man. As a man who has a penis, it's literally a man who has a penis who wants to have sex, who is going to have sex with somebody who he is sexually attracted to. A man is not going to have sex. A straight man does not have sex with another man. That's not what they do. They just mess with the COs. Why rape when every single woman up in there only got that sorry ass job that don't pay shit because they want to get beat down. That's the only reason why they get that job. All dudes who go to jail do not have sex with men. Straight men have sex with the COs. Straight men do not have sex with other men. That's not the way it works. Those men who assault other men are just gay. They're just gay men.
I can't, because that's a very harmful way of looking at things. It's also
true.
not accurate. It is not accurate at all.
So you're saying straight men can grape a
Yes.
man? That's not
Yes.
it. That's not the way straight men are.
Yes,
That's
they
not what
will.
straight is.
Yes, it is. Actually, it is, because again, men aren't.
So there's no such thing as straight then, because I can tell you as a gay man, no matter what, a woman
not
ain't
really.
getting it. No, I would shoot myself in the head before a woman ever get it, because there's no way that I could ever respond to a
Chat.
woman.
No,
'Cause I'm not.
pew pew,
Pew, pew,
I'm
pew, pew.
stopping
Right.
this now. No,
Right.
no,
Pew,
the
pew,
both of
pew,
you,
pew.
mute
Right.
up. Both of you mute up, please.
But that's what I'm
Both of
saying.
you.
That's people don't
Chat,
understand.
chat. No, this has gotten way out of hand. Way out of hand. Seriously, because now we're to the point where we're doing that. Chad, you know I got nothing but love for you, but I refuse to get this channel shut down again. So I'm gonna need for both of y'all to take a lap. So y'all both gotta jump off and come back. Seriously, both of y'all. So please jump off and come back.
I'll bring him back up.
Alrighty. Okay, and your all right, and your insurance provider.
Oh, girl, you over here talking on the phone. Yo, what's up, bro?
Hold on, can you? Okay, you can hear me. Yeah, chilling, man. Yeah,
Yep.
no echo today. I should be good. Yeah, man, what's good with it?
Not much. I see you had a lot to say about me when you got off my live. Again, I didn't block you. My moderator blocked you, so I had to unblock you to see
Oh,
what
okay.
everybody was
Yeah,
talking about.
I took my blocking
So,
privilege from my. I took all my
but
blocking
okay.
privileges away from my mods because I don't want them doing that type of shit.
Oh well, mine is necessary because I can't block
Yeah.
everybody, so I give mine that. So yeah, bro. Number one, the first and the biggest thing I wanted to address is what was your purpose in making that video and bringing up my old lady?
What do you mean? Why did I bring up your old lady?
Yeah, what was the purpose of you bringing my old lady up in your content that you put on YouTube?
What part of it? What did I bring up your old lady? What are you talking about?
I mean, I
Yeah,
can play
play
the
the
clip. You want me to play it?
I don't know nothing about your woman, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know how I could bring her up.
Well, yeah, you sure made a very valid thing when you said something though.
Let me make some allegations.
You made your allegation.
No, you spent so much time looking at me. Yeah, let me make some allegations. I'm going to make some allegations right now about you drinking. I think everything that you're saying about you, your life, right? You have a substantial following. You got about 200,000 followers. TikTok, you're probably making decent money a month in videos. You know what I'm saying? And I think your wife is okay with that, and I think she's pushing you to lean into that. Right? I have the support of my wife too. So I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I have the support of my wife. Everybody knows that. I think that your wife doesn't really care about what you say because the money's coming in. Pretty point blank. I think your wife is okay with you going out there and talking about single women, being obsessed with other women or whatever the case may be. I think your wife doesn't care for the money, and that's scary for her because these are all extreme red flags, right? So when you talk about the women choosing bad, your wife chose poorly thus far. As far as I'm concerned, your wife is the women that you're talking about because you're not a good person, right? You are a walking red flag and a walking contradiction yourself. So looking at your content and knowing you have a wife, or allegedly you have a wife, I'm like, she chose poorly.
Yeah.
But that's my assessment of your. I think your wife is okay with you being obsessed with single women and talking about with other women because you're making some money and you have some.
I think that was fair. Yeah.
That's what I think.
I don't know anything about your wife personally, but I feel like that assessment was fair.
Okay, so isn't that the very thing that y'all got upset with me about saying about Drew and her husband or her fiance?
No. I didn't get upset with you about that. What do you mean?
No, it isn't. No. A lot of her followers was saying that the reason she was able to disrespect me and call me out of her name, out of my name, was because I quote unquote disrespected and I talked about her husband when I said he might be with. After I stated two other things, I said that if those two other things are not true, then you have to question why he's with her. Which is, could that be?
Yeah,
for the money?
I don't think that that's the same thing, and I didn't say that. So you're saying that her followers said that? Then okay, I don't speak for her followers. I'm speaking for myself. I didn't say that. I do think that was what I did. Though I just literally just took what you did and was like, you made an allegation to me that didn't make sense because she's been with the dude for 7 years before TikTok was even invented. She was already with the man. So your allegation didn't make sense to me. It wasn't rooted in anything logical. It was just rooted in from a place of hate. My assessment to me makes sense. Now you explain this to me. If your wife sees all of your content, right, and she hears everything you're saying, you're telling me that she agrees with this stuff?
I don't make misogynistic content, so she does agree. She agrees with things that she agrees with. She disagrees with things that she disagrees with.
Yeah, but you do realize you don't get to say if your content is misogynistic or not, right? Obviously, yes.
Watch my content? No, because you have a mutual in here, which is
KGR is my mutual too.
Do you watch? Do you? Do you follow Chad? You see his content? Do you think that if I was a misogynist, a xenophobe, and all those things that Drew, yourself, and others called me, do you think someone
I
like
think it's
Chad
possible,
would
yeah.
follow me?
Why not?
Okay.
Because he
Okay,
likes
why
your
do you do
content.
that?
Yeah, because all men are inherently misogynistic because of society.
No, 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 no. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't know why. I'm just saying he could like your content. He could. I followed you before you blocked me. So I didn't follow you because I liked your content. I followed you to hear what you had to say. I follow Donald Trump. I don't like Donald Trump, but I follow him on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Like I follow a bunch of people I don't like. So I'm not gonna assume that Chad is following you because he actually likes all of your content. He may just like to engage in the conversation. He may be here to debate you. You know what I mean? Like I don't fucking know. That's just I don't know. I'm being honest with you. You got to ask him. He's sitting right there.
So you follow people that you don't usually agree with
Of
their
course.
core values and principles?
That
I don't do
that's
that.
you.
I don't.
I do.
that.
I like to because before
Okay.
I speak on people and before I speak on topics, I like to be educated. So like you,
Yeah, that doesn't mean I have to follow them. I can go to their page and see and research their content.
I know, but
Doesn't
I'll
mean I
never
have to
see it if
follow
I don't
them.
go to their page. That's the thing. I would never see. I would never see your content if I didn't go to your page. You see what I'm saying? I found your content because somebody sent it to me. It would never pop up on my FYP. So so if I want to see your content again, I have to follow you. So I followed you.
Again, you don't have to follow someone in order to see their content. And if you've seen my content, then you know I don't just quote
You
unquote
do though.
attack.
To me, you can't tell me that you don't. You do realize that, right? You can't just say you don't. I'm telling you, you do.
No,
To me,
you can go. You can go to my page and see that I do not just attack.
well, okay. I'm
women,
sorry. I'm
if
sorry.
That's what y'all
You're
wanna
right.
talk.
And you even said it in your video. You do make random arbitrary videos about things like PS5s and things and other things that you may be interested in, right? No doubt about it. I'm not so technically you're right. You don't only make videos attacking women, but the bulk of your content, right? And the thing that is like here's what I'm saying. If you stopped right now, if you stopped attacking women and you just made techie type shit because you got a lot of shit behind you, do you think you wouldn't get another follower? I promise you.
This is what we're not gonna do. You're not gonna continue to throw dog whistle words and say things like attack.
You do.
Because I don't do
That is my.
No, I don't. You're not gonna see, because that's how people get off topic and start labeling. You throw labels and you use dog whistle words to try to put people into this type of corner so that people will agree with you. I don't attack women. I address the things that they do. The same way that I critique, I criticize, and I address
You don't.
the things men do.
You don't critique men the same way you critique women. You attack women.
How do I literally had an entire video, 2-3 videos talking about the
Okay.
Cam Newton situation.
I didn't see it. What was your critique of Cam
I
Newton?
had
What was your critique of Cam
You said
Newton?
what? I said I was telling men to stop creating broken homes. I said he was a joke. I said that is not a smart thing to do. That men should have sexual discipline. That they should marry the women before they lay down and have children with them.
Fair. Okay.
But you watch my content, but you skipped over that. I've made plenty of videos talking about passport bros and how that shit is entirely stupid. That you have to go across seas to go quote unquote find a traditional woman when there are plenty of women walking around in America. And that if you can't get a woman in America, what the fuck make you think you're gonna get a woman overseas? You just want to go somewhere that's cheaper, that you can actually afford to pay for the coochie, because you can't do it in America.
Yeah, and I think that
thing.
the disconnect is this though.
No,
No, that's not it. The disconnect is this. No, okay. I'll tell you what it is in my mind. The disconnect is those two lanes, those two critiques, right? Of Cam.
No,
I know. I'm using the two examples you gave me. I'm acknowledging them. I'm saying, okay, those are two fair critiques and two fair takes. Cool. The difference is that and you could say it's based on you could say, well, of course you would say that because I agree, but I agree with those two takes, right? I do think that that I agree with Cam Newton, and men need to stop creating broken homes, stop abandoning family. I don't believe in the concept of a broken home, but they need to stop abandoning their kids and so on and so forth, right? Cool. And then on the flip side, or on the other thing you said, I agree with the passport bro stuff, absolutely, right? Those are fair and honest, and you know what I mean? Like those are good critiques, right? That's not you attacking men. Do you see what I'm saying? You weren't attacking them. That was a fair critique. It was honest.
You know what?
Like what you were doing with Drew.
How do I attack women? How did I attack Drew? Explain how I attacked her. Because
you went beyond critiquing her though. You made assumptions, right? One of them, like you brought up already, about her fiance being with her for the bag, even though he was with her 7 years before she ever got on TikTok.
That's not an attack. That's making an observation. That's making an observation. Okay, and just like you said, I'm not attacking those men to you.
Yeah.
That's how you think. But then there could be men that said, which I've been on a live, where those passport bros felt like I was.
I know. I'm not saying you could feel like whatever you want to feel, but I'm just saying none of us get to tell anybody that you're not attacking a person or you're not misogynistic. You don't get to do that.
Words have meanings and definitions. You can't just change the name and the definition of a word because you feel some type of way. An attack is an attack. A critique and and being critical or criticizing is critical and criticizing. You're trying to paint me making an observation and talking about what I literally see with my own two eyes and making an opinion and turning that into I am attacking someone. That is wrong. No, that is wrong. That is wrong.
I can't. And so you see that that her fiance is with her for the money? You saw that with your own two eyes?
Again, I made three other points that would logically lead to someone to have to question what she's doing. The first was that first of all, I believe that they're putting on a show to make money. That is together to go live their best life and buy the houses and pay off cars.
And you see this with your own two eyes.
Retire their parents. No, can I get to it? So that is what I think. Then I said, okay, if she really does believe this and he does not, you then have to question the advice that she is giving. Then I said, and if those two things are not true, and he doesn't agree with what so I said she has to, if she really does believe these things about hate all men, and she's with a man, and he agrees with it, then okay. But then I said, if she agrees and really believes this, and he doesn't, and he's there with a woman he does not believe her core principles, despite him being a man, then you have to question why he's there. Which the question would be, okay, is he there for the money? Because why else would he be with a woman that he does not foundationally agree with?
So that's not because she doesn't hate all men. That's what I'm saying. So that would be like
But she says, okay, but that's what you assume other than what she says. She has said this.
He doesn't have a problem with women who say they hate all men. Because he doesn't do anything.
I have said multiple times, I've shown that she has said this. So if she does not believe that, why do you say that and push that rhetoric? That is destructive.
It's not.
That does not conduce.
It's not. A woman saying that they hate all men, how does that affect men?
It may not affect grown men, but
Who?
it affects
What young boys? How?
Young boys growing up.
It would affect my young boys.
How?
Because there will be.
If I'm going to fucking explain, nigga, goddamn. Can I explain the shit? Okay, thank you. It does affect grown men, but nobody gives a fuck about grown men, so I want to talk about the little boy. If you have a little boy growing up, and I'm telling my son, hey, be a good man, do these things to make women feel comfortable, do X, Y, and Z, and he goes out into the world to try to apply that to his life, and a little girl tells him, I hate you because you're a boy. How is that conducive to actually him applying what I just taught him to a person that says they?
You would have to wonder, why do they hate them? I would tell my son, why does she feel that way? Did you ask her?
Okay, Okay, and I would say to him, well, son, there's a girl online that just says you should just hate men because that you could potentially be dangerous to them. Now, I'm not, but
That's an obtuse
I'm
take.
not saying that you can. I'm not telling them that you
Yeah.
can't be weary of men, be cautious of men, have discernment with men,
Yeah.
take precautions with men. But to tell young
Benny.
girls or women, period, to hate,
Benny, would you
men
understand?
is
Would you
not-
understand?
is
I
not-
got you, Benny.
It's not.
I got you.
It's not productive to trying to.
It doesn't.
garner
You don't know what they
they
want. But I got a question for you. If a black person said that they hated white people, how would you feel about that? If a black person said they hated white people, how does that hurt? How does that hurt white people?
I would. Say
No, I know. And then and their response is, look at history, and also I've been hurt by a bunch of white people. Now I hate white people.
And I would say, and I would also tell them it's not healthy to then
I got you.
walk around hating all white people because all white.
Yep.
because all
And then,
white people are
but
not bad.
would you understand if they said it though?
I would still tell them again. I would
Yeah,
tell them
Benny,
to be
Benny,
cautious,
yes or no,
take
sir? Can you answer the
precautions,
question?
aware.
Would you understand if a black person
said-
told you that they
I
hated
just
all white
said-
people? Would you understand it?
I could have. I could
Okay,
understand.
I know, I didn't.
that's
I got you.
wrong
I hear that
thing.
part, but I'm saying,
I could understand.
Okay.
If you'll tell them that they just wrong.
okay.
Y'all
So
can't
you
do
can
that.
you can understand a black person saying that they don't like white people and base it on history and base it on their real lived experiences right now, right? Okay, cool. Also, so that's first question, and then the second question is, how does a black person hating white people hurt white people? How does it affect them as a group?
Because they're still.
I know. I'm saying as a group,
can-
sir. Not talking about their feelings. I'm saying as a group in their material world. How does it translate to harm against white people? Black people hating white people. Tell me. What do we do? Are we going to ratchet up our violence on them? Or how, can we oppress them? Like, what do you mean?
You can take out your anger.
And do most black people who hate white people do that? Do you think that we do that? Okay, so that's not a reality of most black.
Because most people don't. Most black people don't.
And most women don't hate
white
men.
people.
So what's the point?
No. But if you're saying that black people aren't walking around saying I hate.
A lot of black people do walk around. I've heard way more black people say they hate white people than women say they hate men.
So are there black people? So is there a black person like? Is there a black equivalent of do a follow getting on the internet?
Of course
saying,
there are. I don't know. I don't follow that content, but you don't think that there are black Umar. Like there's a bunch of black people who come out here and be.
Umar does not say hate white people.
I'm sorry. Let me say it like
Thank you
this.
for calling Cleveland Clinic Appointment Center. This is Star speaking. How can I help you?
I got you. I'm gonna take that back. Fuck you, because I ain't about to even argue that. My point is this though. We understand that it is, and I mean this for both. I'm gonna do it goes both ways on this one. It is because misogyny, right, and misogynoir are not looked at in the same lens as racism is in our society. It is okay for people to say that they don't like women. It's okay for women to say they don't like men, which is different, but it's okay for them to say that. Whereas we know with racism, right, like a white person couldn't openly get on the internet and be like, I don't like black people. We know that, you know what I'm saying? Like if a white person does that, he or she, they're going to catch a lot of heat for that, right? Especially if they're in any corporate thing. But a man can be openly misogynistic and still get deals and still get a job and still get all of these things, and nobody gives a fuck, right? Because it's looked at differently in our society, and it shouldn't. It should be looked at exactly the same in this context, but it's not, right? So to answer your question, yeah, women can say, I hate men, right? It doesn't bother me as a man. It don't bother my 8-year-old son. He sees that content because I listen to that content too. I see the same stuff that that you're seeing. He hears all of that stuff. We don't care, right? I tell my son to be the best version of himself and to respect women and so on and so forth. And I'm pretty sure he's never gonna run into a woman that tells him I hate men, because that shit almost never happens in real life, right?
So would you so we're gonna sit here and act like culture and
No,
influence
I'm not
does
acting like that.
exist.
I think what you're acting like is.
No. I'm talking about no. So does culture in the 20
Yeah.
in the age of the internet and kids growing up seeing the internet, are they or are they not
They
influenced by
can
the
be,
things
yes.
they see on these
Yes, they
apps?
can be, but I'm gonna throw something in here. The difference between a woman or girls hearing, okay, don't center, decenter men, focus on yourselves. It's all men till it's none. Those are safety precautions. Okay, that's the difference. Those are safety precautions. Oh, no. Can I
But
finish? Can I
again,
finish?
okay,
Can I finish?
again,
But the red pill.
again, that's still, y'all keep trying to mix the two. But I said there is no issue with telling women to be precautious. There is no issue with telling women to use discernment. There is no issue with telling women to
And there's no issue.
protect themselves. The issue comes when you start.
Can I ask you a question, Benny? Do you
hatred.
think that the hatred, which one of these affects our society more? The hatred of women or the hatred of men?
The hatred of men.
Yeah.
You said
Which what?
one
Yeah.
hurts
What?
everybody more. The hatred of-
And what I'm saying is because this is what I was saying before. If a woman hates a man, it doesn't actually materialize into anything. I'm not. Oh, Benny, hold on, wait, brother, hold on.
So
Let
you're
me
trying
finish,
to-
Benny.
No, but you keep no, because what you keep trying to do is turn it into systemic problems as if individual things don't happen on a regular level. If a woman has hatred towards a man,
But they
can
usually
pick a
don't.
weapon up and do something to her. Okay, and usually
They
men
do.
don't do things to women either.
The typical man. No, sir.
Y'all
I'm not even
speak
speaking on the extreme.
Y'all speak because y'all speak. To
No,
the
Benny,
possibility
I'm talking
versus
about
probability.
no.
Most women walk
Most
around
women
and
have been
don't do
abused.
anything.
Most women have been abused.
Most men don't
Statistics.
do. How do you know that?
Most.
That majority of women have
Been
been
abused.
abused. We have women. We have women in this panel
But
who
but
have
you
not been.
but do you see how you pivoted and say women on this panel? I just said most women overall. If you can meet a group of women that haven't been abused, great, good for you. But most women have been abused. That's the reality.
And most
No,
men
that's
have
in this.
probably been
By who?
abused too.
Hold on, wait. You might be right, but by who though?
Underreported.
Who have most men been abused by?
Men and women.
Here's what I'm
So
saying.
women
No,
don't
they
abuse
don't.
men?
That's not. I'm not saying no woman. I'm saying when you say women don't, you mean in general, right? So we're talking about most women. Do most women abuse men? No. Do most men abuse women? Yes. Yes.
So are you talking about no?
No. That's what you're talking about. I'm talking about all forms of abuse. Okay. So name the different forms of abuse. You know there's a lot before you start. There's a ton of them. Yeah.
There's a lot of. There's verbal. There's emotional.
Yep.
There's physical.
Yep.
There's financial.
No, but a lot of things fall under that, right? Because there's a will of abuse. Now, if you've ever seen the will, because this I already had acknowledged that I participated in abuse of women before, no doubt about it. But the will of abuse, if you look at it, if you really read it like with the open mind and not trying to be defensive, right? You will recognize that you and probably most of your friends have done something or multiple things on that list and probably do some of them to this day, right? Most of us do. Most of us have lied to our women, gaslit our women, neglected our women.
Those things aren't.
It's not specific, Benny. I'm just talking up. See, I think we can make some room here, make some steps here. So I'm not saying that no woman abuses men. That's not what I'm saying. Of course, there are some women who abuse men, but a lot is subjective. But I'm saying, so I'll be more specific. Most women don't abuse men, but if you flip that around, most men do abuse women or have abused or has abused a woman. Yes.
No, because if we say so, if you want to say,
I'm not talking about violently.
Possibly, I'll give. But if we're talking, we're talking about all different forms of abuse. You're gonna say that a lot of women
I don't believe so. No,
abuse men.
I don't believe so at all.
Okay.
Yeah, and have you been verbally abused by your wife? I have. Oh, okay.
Yeah, not my wife, but no, not my wife. I've been verbally abused by my stepmother. I've been verbally abused by two of my ex-girlfriends. I've been verbally abused by women that I was around in the military.
And that's And I would want to say that that your experience may be common, right? Let me acknowledge that. Cool, fine. Most men have been verbally abused by a woman, which
But that would mean that
I was good.
a lot of men
I'm just doing this for
emotionally-
argument's sake because I don't really care to argue about this stuff because it's so common sense to me that I don't, you know what I'm saying? So most men you're saying have been verbally abused, which constitutes as what in your mind? What's an example of that? Being yelled at? Being berated? Yeah.
being berated, being belittled, being told, being having their confidence and their ego bruised, women throwing things in their face, women cutting underneath the hip and hitting below the belt. When men tell and confide in them their inner emotions that they use it as a weapon, women
Gotcha.
verbally abuse men
And
all the time.
so when I look at those situations, I mean, the military you can't get away from, right? You're in the military. If you had like a superior in the military and she was, you know what I mean, berating you or whatever, then hey man, you know that's the military, right? Like you just got to fucking suck that shit up. Unfortunately, in the civilian world though, that situation would typically result in a man just leaving the situation because men could typically just leave those situations. Women can't a lot of times, most of the time, right? Women usually can't escape abuse when a man is abusive to them, right? It's very common that they can't escape it. And men are far more likely to use abuse to control a woman, right? Like that is like it's baked into it.
How are women not able to escape
The threat of physical violence. Yeah, like if a woman was yelling in your face right now, you could literally just stand up and leave, right? Like unless she got a pew pew on her, you could just literally just stand up and walk away. There's nothing, whatever. You can get out the house, whatever. But if you were yelling at your wife or a woman, I don't even want to say your wife, but like a woman, right? And she feels like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying in your mind, you may not even do anything to this woman, right? You may know I'm not gonna do anything to this woman. I'm not thinking about touching this woman. I'm just yelling at her, right? In your mind, she doesn't know that though, so she can't just get up and leave. Even if she wanted to, she probably won't, right? And in most cases, I mean, in a lot of cases, men actually let it be known that if you do try to leave, I'm going to do something to you. And in more cases, when the woman does end up actually trying to leave, the man physically subdues her, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, there is a threat of physical violence involved in almost every aspect of emotional violence. And not to say it actually happens from men to women, but it's the threat of violence is there. And so it's another layer to it, right? But yeah, like I said, I'll give you, hey, fuck it. We all been yelled at by our mamas. You know what I mean? Cool. Every man has been berated by their mothers, right? I was more talking about men and women as adults, relationships, so on and so forth, on the street, right? At the club, at the bar, at work, at school, right? Never. I've never experienced any of that stuff. Most of the men I know, not them either. But women, on the other hand, absolutely. Would you?
They've experienced
Getting berated, getting attacked verbally. I'm saying, because I'm not even going physical, right? We just been talking about right now. We've been talking about getting yelled at and stuff like that. So women have been verbally assaulted in real life for their whole lives. It never stopped, right? It started when they were kids, when dudes would be driving down the street, doing all that bullshit, and then it continued as adults, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like you can't really compare the plight of men to women in this aspect, and doing so, it minimizes the damage that men do to women. That's what I'm saying, Benny.
I'm not comparing though. I'm just stating that men also have things that we are going through. We also do experience abuse from women. And when I call these things out to say I'm attacking or I'm criticizing, I'm doing things to women or invalidating their plight.
I think what it looks like, if this is, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and assume that you really just earnest, you're just genuinely concerned about the plight of men, right? Cool. I'm just telling you that.
No, I'm concerned.
People. Okay, cool. So if you're genuinely concerned about the plight of people, what I'm saying is every single time you make a video and you try to, quote unquote, call out women's behavior, which you can't call it out as a group. That's what I'm saying, right? Like when you talk about women doing stuff, these are like the minority of women. right?
Mr. Public,
But
I'm pretty
hold
sure
on.
everybody coming in here keep trying to figure out why there's no comments. There's no comments because I haven't got my 150K. Now that I'm off work, I can pay attention more. So until y'all give me my 150K, y'all can continue to argue and yell all you want to the screen, but it's gonna stay blank. So give me my 150K and I'll turn them back on. You can continue, Mr. Public.
Okay. Yeah. So when you make videos, like, and I'm gonna do it back to race because I feel like you have a good understanding of racism. If a white person made a bunch of content calling out black people harming white people, I'm saying, like, let's say physical violence, right? Like, I'm just going extreme with it. When we know that black people harm, you know what I'm saying, due to proximity, black people commit violent acts versus other black people exponentially more than we do against white people. Wouldn't you look at that with some type of side eye? Like, if they, because it's like that's the minority of violence committed. There, white people commit 85%. Hold on, Benny, I'm almost there. So if quote unquote, I'm gonna use this for all intents and purposes. If white on white crime is 85% of violent crime against white people is committed by white people, right? And 90% of all violent crime against black people is committed by black people, you know, black on black and white on white, right? And if a creator got online though and like 10-1 called out black people committing heinous acts against white people, you wouldn't naturally conclude that white person was trying to infer or trying to insinuate that black people are more violent than white people, or that black violence against white people is a real problem, or that it's even comparable to the violence that has been visited upon black people from white people. You wouldn't make that natural conclusion, like, i.e., this person is a fucking racist.
because I would understand that that black people don't their majority of black people
Benny, exactly. Majority of women aren't abusing men.
So that
they are. See, we keep going around in circles. The majority of men are abusing women.
No, because majority of men are not abusing women. Because if that was the case, women
that's not true.
Outside and for the most part,
that's not true.
Untouched.
Because we just got done talking about all the forms of abuse. Now you're going back to physical, right? I'm not talking about just physical. We already talked about emotional, financial. That's why I set it all up. Now you're going back to if every man, Benny.
No, because you're saying
I didn't say violently.
Even whatever form of abuse.
I didn't say all. Hold on, by the way, I didn't say all, but most men do abuse women.
Not even majority of men are not abusing
I completely disagree with that. Completely disagree.
Why do you
the majority.
that?
Sorry, if the vast majority of women have been abused, then they have probably been abused by the vast majority of men. It just mathematically doesn't make sense. It's not like one man is abusing 100 women. That doesn't make sense, right?
Okay, so the majority of child violence is committed by women. So what I assume that all
no, you would have to well, first of all, I think most parents are abusive to their kids. No, I know.
No, but the stats show that women.
I know. No. Right. The rate isn't the highest. It's actually men have a higher rate of violence versus kids. It is It is.
No, I'm saying women have the highest.
I know. Listen to what I'm saying. The rate is not the highest. The rate is per capita, right? So per one man versus per child. No, men commit more acts of violence per capita. But overall, yeah, women commit more acts of violence. And why do you think that is? Why do you think the number of cases of not violence? I'm sorry, this ain't even violence because abuse is not violence. By the way, the number one form of abuse is neglect from child to parent to child, right? It's neglect. Okay. That is what overwhelmingly women do. They neglect their kids the same way fathers do, right? But abuse is abuse, right? So I'm going to say that. But the reason why is because women spend more time with the kids. So of course, their numbers are going to be reflect that. So it is a crime of proximity, just like black on black crime, quote unquote, doesn't exist because crime is just crime. Right? We live in close proximity to one another. You're going to unalive and rob the people who are closest to you. We're not unaliving and robbing black people because we hate black people. We're doing it because we live next to each other. Same thing with white tea people. Same thing with Asian people. Same shit. The reason why kids the reason why more kids are overall, right, the overall numbers say that is because women they spend more time with the kids than men do. That's all it is. 85% of custodial parents are mothers, right? So they spend more time with the kids.
So but that's what I'm saying. So if I were to make a general assumption, or children were to make a general assumption that I should hate women because they abuse us, would that be fair, or would it be rational to say that most?
I would say that like I said, I think most parents have abused their kids. I do. Men and women. I'm saying parents that have access to their kids. I think most parents have abused their kids. I'm not saying that it's been for. Listen to me. Listen what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's been forever. I'm not saying it's been like your mom whooped you for 30 years. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, at some point in time in the child rearing process, you know, they yelled at them, they berated them, whatever the case may, spanked them, whatever, right? Cool. I'll acknowledge that. What I'm saying is, though, is that if you were if a kid came to you, though, who was abused by their parent, right? If a 10-year-old walked up to you, or you were talking to a 10-year-old, and they said, I hate my parents, or I hate my parent, and you ask them why, and they said, because they are abusing me, you would understand. That's what I'm saying. The same way I would understand if a woman said, I hate all men, I would be like, I get it. And I agree with you. I wouldn't tell them this because I don't give women advice in this field or whatever, but like, I would think to myself, okay, that's not the healthiest way to approach that, but is it an actual problem? Does it actually hurt men? And the answer overwhelmingly is no. Women hating men is a reaction to men abusing women. Men hating women is a mechanism baked into the patriarchy. It is two completely different things.
But that's it, bro. Whether or not there's a reason, hatred is hatred.
That's a very bad take.
So if a person is, so you would say that you should.
No, I'm not. That's not women combating hatred. That's them. They hate men. When women hate men, I'm saying the women that hate men. When a woman says she hates a man, what do those women do? 99% of the time, those women abstain from men completely. They move. They do, sir.
No,
they do.
They don't. No, they
okay.
don't. No, they don't. They're still having.
That's an assumption.
Men. They're still making children with these. No,
that's not what's happening.
That's what's happening.
That's not what's
people
happening.
For women to walk around saying they hate men, but people are still getting.
I haven't. Children. Me personally, and this is there's.
Drew literally said she hates.
I never heard you say that.
A man.
I saw the clip of the video you played, and in that video, hold on, Benny, let's go through it real quick. And okay.
No, because this is where you start getting disingenuous. She has stated in several videos that she hates men, and she hated men until she found the guy she.
Okay, so she doesn't hate men.
But to that point,
so she doesn't hate men.
To that point, no, she doesn't hate.
Well, she doesn't hate men then. If she doesn't hate all men, then she doesn't hate all men, and that's what you always try to peg her in. Okay. So then, why perpetuate that narrative out to the rest of the women? Well, she doesn't. See, you're contradicting yourself. She doesn't. Okay.
Yes, she does.
Oh, time out. I'll give you. Okay, cool. Hold on, Benny. I think the disconnect is this here. She can say I hate men and say that in general about most men, and I would wouldn't give a fuck. Doesn't bother me one bit. But if she, but you said that no. But you said that she said she hates all men, and you're trying to make it seem like she's contradicting herself. That was a big part of your video was she says she hates all men when she never said that. Even in the video you stitched from John, she didn't. That other woman said, I say I hate all men. She laughed and said, yeah, women should.
We're not gonna go.
Okay, play the video.
I'm just gonna play the video. Just gonna play the video because
I don't play semantics.
And if you can't, if you can't even admit that she has,
you just admitted she never said it. You said she used to. Okay, Benny, go ahead. Play the clip. I'm listening.
We just gonna play the clip, bro. And we gonna see what you say after this. Like that's that.
An awful man, then don't feel hit. I don't ever correct her because there has to be a reason that you feel that way. And who am I to tell you that you're not allowed to? I'm not. And when men say, like, what about me? Are you an awful man? Then don't feel hit. If I'm not aiming for you, don't feel hit. You know what I mean? the wrong questions. Instead of saying, why does it have to be all men? Why aren't you asking, why do women hate all men? Like, whose fault is that? Is that mine? Or is it the cause of a man? And part of intersectional feminism is autonomy. The freedom to do and choose how you walk and move in this world is solely up to you and nobody else. So if you want to hate all of them until you find a good one, by all means. That's what I did.
So that is exactly what I thought she would say, and that makes perfect sense. And that you got from that she's saying, she is literally just saying, like she said in the other video. She did.
Video, she said,
until she found a man. So she obviously doesn't hate all men, Benny.
But she said hate all
Yeah,
men.
she just said that's what you, sir, because she told you she gave you instructions in the video and you didn't even listen. She said you should ask the question, why do women say they hate all men? Instead of playing this game of like, not me, not my son, ask the question, why do women say they hate all men? The women who do say they hate all men, which is a very few women say that.
Did she say I hate
She didn't.
all men?
She didn't. She said I hated all men until I found my man, and that's what, and it's basically essentially, and that's what y'all should do, right? So she doesn't hate all men today, currently, because she has a man, so she doesn't hate men. And and if you listen to what she was saying, she was literally saying, until you, and she said in the other video, she been saying the same shit. It's all men until it's no man. You've heard that before, right? It's all men till it's no man, right?
I can't have an honest conversation. You can't.
She did it, sir. Come on, Benny. You just gonna sit here and lie in front of everybody. She did not say that she hates all men. She literally said I hated all men until I found my man. Literally.
So up until she found.
She hated men. She said it. I heard what she said.
Okay, so that means she said it.
That means she said that once upon a time sir, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm getting confused.
Okay.
Currently today, does she hate all men? Is that what she said?
And even
hold on, I'm asking you, Benny. Is that what she said? Is that what you got?
I don't believe she hates men.
But she didn't though. She's sorry, man. Okay, I think that's what I'm saying. I think this is like it's like a Bible scripture, and you're just interpreting it the way you want to.
No, you don't interpret hatred. You don't joke, because women, there are people who admit it. Yeah, she said that, but so what? Okay, so you don't.
No, I don't think it's a joke. I'm saying.
No, but people have said this. Oh, well, it's just a joke, or well, you just gotta realize the context. There's no context in joking about hating someone. And if you're gonna and so let's for the sake of argument, I concede that she doesn't hate all men, right? And her man is the exception because he's proven he's the good man. So we can go back all the way to the brick.
Her name is Ro. Her name is Ro, by the way.
She's a liar and a scam artist. So back to the brick lady situation. We can go bring this all the way back. When men were saying, when women were saying, well, you guys should give us protection. You need to, black women are protected by black men and you don't protect us. And men were trying to say, well, we don't owe you protection as a random stranger. We don't owe you protection as a random man. I protect my wife. I protect the women in my life. I protect my daughter, my grandmother, my auntie, the women in my life. I don't owe you protection.
Yeah, you do owe them protection, and there's many forms of protection. I think that was a sticking point in that debate that I was observing, that a bunch of men were being willfully ignorant, kind of like what's happening right now. Like you just don't want to hear what they were saying.
I, as a stranger man, who these women hate until proven innocent, I owe her a random act of protection. But he can't give me a common courtesy of.
How does she disrespect you as a man? That doesn't affect you. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know these women didn't hate you, Benny, if they didn't say it.
If you're walking around saying I don't have to know them. They're saying it on the internet. I can click on their pages. I can look in my own.
Yeah, but listen to what I'm saying though. So, okay.
So with that said, I owe a random woman who claims to hate.
Well, I don't know why you're doing that, but go ahead. Yeah.
A random act of protection who I have to prove that I'm guilty until prove I owe her protection. but she doesn't owe me a common decency of looking at me as a human and giving
That
me
you
the
think
benefit of the doubt.
protection is based on like some level of reciprocation is wild to me, because I've never looked at protection that way. I don't care what you feel about me. As a human being, I'm going to do my best to protect you. And there's many forms of protection. One of them being not fucking with women. That's the best form of protection. If the number one way for men to protect women, hold on, Benny, I got you. Can I finish what I'm saying real quick? No, okay.
No, because I'm talking
Yeah.
about the brick lady situation. Women said that men should have jumped in and protected her a lot. When she said those two men that were standing behind her did not jump in, they said those men were supposed to jump in.
Some women said
her.
that. Most people.
A lot of
I don't.
most
That's
of the women said
unquantifiable.
that. See, this is what no. See, this is okay. A lot of the things you
I agree.
have stated are
I'm not disagreeing with it.
unquantifiable, but we go. So that said, a lot of women, a lot of the female rhetoric was those men should have stepped in, and black men stand by while they go unprotected and things happen, and we don't say anything, we don't do anything. But then on that same note, I don't get a random act of courtesy and not to be hated by those women, but I'm trying to protect the women in my life. But she can respect her man because that's her man. But I have to protect random women instead of protecting the women that I.
It's
know
not an
that I
either
love
or,
that love
and
me.
the courtesy wouldn't be to not hate you, because there's no action there, right? Like they're not actively hating you, they're not doing anything to harm you. That goes back to my original point. When a woman hates a man, there's nothing there. Who gives a fuck? You wouldn't even know. I wouldn't know if women hated me or not, because they're not telling me. You talking about online, but hold on, wait. So you want to compare online situations to real life situations, and then when I point out the fact that in real life, Ro ain't never said to a man, "I hate you." You want to compare that to some woman saying something online? Like, it doesn't make sense, bro. The women, if a woman is being harmed in real life, sir, if a woman is being harmed in real life and you don't step up to do anything about that, by the way, I'm being honest, and this with many. I've had many conversations with women about this. The women were not expecting anybody to jump up and put their lives on the line for complete strangers. That is asinine. No, that's not. That's not what most women were doing, sir. Women are actually fairly rational. I give women a lot of credit here. They're fairly rational. What women were talking about, all forms of protection. Men were talking about physical protection only. Two reasons. A, because that's the only thing men can think about when they think about protection. The same way you keep going back to physical violence when I talk about abuse.
Because in that situation, I made
Call the police.
Speaking on this, and women
call the police.
And I said
Write it.
Police. You know, those men.
I know. I'm
did call the police. And they said no, he should have stepped in and stopped it. Why would he let her? Why would they let that man
I don't know what most men.
And she called those men cowards. She and other women called those men cowards because they did not intervene. When they said we did call the police, they said no, you should have intervened because you stood there and watched.
Benny, if there's a group, if you are with your friends, let's say you're with 2 or 3 dudes and there's a dude assaulting a woman, you're not going to step in? Even if you don't know her, you're not? Okay.
No, I'm not. You said if there's
no. I said if you are there, because there was multiple men there, right? It wasn't one man there; it was a group of men there. I'm saying, so if you're standing there with a group of men and a man is assaulting a woman, you're not gonna step up. You ain't even gotta be like, I'm about to drop you on your head, but you can't be like, hey, what the fuck, hey, bro, hey, man, like nothing. You just gonna let it happen.
I'll say A and I'll call the police, but I'm not stepping in.
Yeah, man. I mean, it is what it is. I came, hey, you don't feel like you want to protect anybody or women in that way? Fine. I ain't about to argue with you over that. That's your opinion. That's your body, your choice, right? But I understand.
Because if I get put in the dirt or going to jail,
no.
Rent? Is she gonna take care of my family?
I'm not asking you to risk your life. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they are either. Personally, I don't think that's what the women are expecting. To be honest with you, but here's the thing, Benny. Who protects who more, men or women? Who is more likely to step up and protect a person? A random stranger, a man or a woman? It's their studies about this. But go ahead.
Because from my perspective, I would think that.
But they don't though. Women protect other women from men. Women protect men from other men. Men protect women from other women. Women protect more than men do. So what is the excuse? Why are you so scared, but the women ain't? You can't handle yourself better than the average woman? Not going home. You just said it. Oh, I can't. Who gonna pay my rent if I get put in the dirt?
See, you.
No. I'm not saying you a pussy.
I'm not.
I'm not calling you out your name, brother.
No, because you ain't gotta say it. You implying it. So my point is, again, if I step in and I do something and I get put in the dirt or I get put in jail, who's going to protect my wife? Who's going to protect my children?
Who knows?
Who's going to protect my grandmother? Who's going to pay my mortgage?
I don't know. Hopefully your life insurance. But the thing is,
okay, so that who's going to be the father figure in my children? Who's going to fill that void of me not being there because I decided to step in and try to protect a random woman from God?
So are you not scared of that being the situation, of that being the outcome?
Yeah, I'm scared of not.
Okay, so when I said that you were scared, why did you say that I said that you was a pussy when that was literally what you said?
I'm not scared of intervening because you're trying to say, well, women.
Exactly. So make it make sense.
But that was after I already explained.
Because you're scared. That's what I'm saying. You're scared of the outcome. That I'm not lying. That's literally what you're saying. I'm saying, why are you so scared of the outcome, but the average woman isn't? They will literally step up. It's because you don't see women as people, bro. You don't think that they deserve your protection because your protection comes with caveats. Your protection comes with stipulations. They can't hate me. If they hate me, I ain't gonna help them. If they don't like me, I ain't gonna help them. Like, what the fuck is that?
And women's respect, okay, and women's respect of me getting women's respect comes with stipulations. I
couldn't care less if a woman hates me. But I'll tell you what. Men use protection of women like the mafia uses protection of small businesses, right? The mafia walks into a small business and they start knocking shit over and they start going to you're a business owner. I come in there and I'm like, me and my boys, and I'm like, hey, nice establishment you got here. I'll fuck up your shoes. I knock all your nice stuff over and I go, hey, it'll be a shame if somebody came in and burnt the place up, right? And they get the message like I'm the guy that's gonna burn the place up, right? And then you go, hey, you got to pay me 10% a week off of everything you make. And okay, cool. That's how men use protection or the option of protection to control and manipulate women. Like, so you're saying you want to leverage the idea that if women would just stop hating men, that we will protect them more. So you're literally trying to manipulate and coerce women into not protecting themselves against men, by the way, because their hatred of men is a protection, right? That's how they protect themselves. You're saying, hey, if you guys just stop hating us, if you guys just allowed us in, we would protect you, which is the complete opposite of the truth, because the person that is most likely to hurt you is the man closest to you, Benny. So what are you saying? Like, it doesn't make sense.
You cannot tell somebody, you cannot demand somebody to do something for you and then tell them and have.
Of course you can. Who cares? If your kid told you tomorrow that they hated you, you gonna stop loving them? You gonna stop protecting them? Don't say it's different. Nah, you don't know. If your kid tomorrow, because you don't know the women's mind either.
You're comparing my fucking child to a strange bitch I don't know on the
street,
dog.
No, it's not. It's a one-to-one argument because you don't know the women either.
Hold on, man. I have unconditional love for my child. That's not the same. How you just compare love for a child?
I turned the comments off because this getting ridiculous in the comments. So I just turned it off to focus, so y'all can focus. Okay. No, I'm just letting you know that I turned them off because of that, because it's getting out of hand. So the comments are getting way out of hand now. It's getting like really nasty in the comments, and people don't know how to control their selves. So I rather turn them off so you won't get in trouble. Okay. But this is turning into something very wicked. I'm just gonna say that.
Buddy can't even admit that Drew says she hates him. Then it turns into, oh, well, why does it matter? It matters. And I told y'all why it matters.
At this point, it's just like, you just gonna agree to disagree at this point, because it's just like, it's just around and round and round and round. And Benny, I know you're tired. You've been on here since this morning. But it is what it is. This is your life. You do as you please. You know that. So if you tell me to do something, I'll do it.
No, you good.
This is. I knew him coming on was gonna be a whole nother mess, but whatever.
That's fine.
Cause everybody that's in our comments, they're literally hitting me up in my DMs saying, "Why am I letting this continue? Stop this! Turn the comments off! Do this! Do that!" Like, bro, they're all seeing this for what it is, and it's a shit show. Sorry.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, King Flock just said thank you for turning the comments off.
Okay, sorry about that. I had to get my son real quick. Let him in the door. Hello, hello. Oh shit, hold on. All right, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh, I was saying that if your child told you that they hated you, you wouldn't stop loving them. And then you said that it's different. It's a difference between comparing that to a random person, but it's really not, because you know even less of the random person's mind. So if a random person says they hate you, then you really don't know if they, like you just said, you don't think Drew hates all men, right? Like you don't know. It's the same thing. So you can assume. Why not assume they don't really hate you?
But the reason I don't, the reason I don't believe that she hates all men is simply because she's engaged to a man, and also because she's been with the guy since she was 18 years old, right? Okay, so at what point did Drew go through things with men to quote unquote hate them if she's been with
Through her childhood, because women, because they.
So she was hate. This is what I'm saying, because she said, whether you agree with it or not, she tells women to hate me. At what point has Drew gone through things or whatever with men when she's been with this guy since high school? So she was hating men in middle school. She was hating men in elementary school. She felt like she hated men this entire time, and then met this guy in high school and then been living with him and doing things and being with him since. So to me, it comes off as she's selling a narrative to women who have been through things, dated men, have had negative experiences with men when she has not, because she's been with this man.
I think that the assumption here is crazy, because as if women, when their girls don't get attacked, I mean, like 1 out of 4 girls are SA'd. And I'm not saying this happened to Drew at all. I'm just saying, like, but the assumption. But wait, hold on a minute. I'm just saying that you're acting like she had to. The only time women get abused is when they turn 18 and up. Like,
no, but she mostly talks about abuse in regards to dating and.
I know, because she's an adult now. Yeah. So who would talk about it as a child?
Right. So at that point, if she's telling women to, you don't need men, fuck men, hate men because you're an awesome girl and you should focus on yourself. You don't need to worry about da. But she's been with said man since high school. I don't know what age, but they said high school. You've been living that your entire life, but
she hasn't been living it her entire life. She's been living it since she was 18.
If she's been with this man since majority of her adult life,
her whole adult life, but she once again she.
So why tell women? At what point was she just
like I said once again? Men? You act like, look, my wife told me stories about men doing heinous things to her, trying to do heinous things to her when she was a child. She said that one time she was walking down the street and a man followed her, and he got really close up on her, and she was like 12 or 13, and literally ejaculated on her leg. When she turned around and was like gonna yell at him, and he ejaculated. So if my wife from 14 years old, from that experience, was like, I hate men, that wouldn't be understandable. I don't trust men. Like I would completely understand that. And that was just one thing. She had many stories like that. That's just one story.
Agreed. That's what I'm saying. My thing is, I'm not saying they can't. I'm not saying that I can't acknowledge why. But then that doesn't mean that behavior or that thought process cannot be corrected and explain why that's negative to walk around.
It doesn't affect any.
Can you say?
No,
Can you
Benny, what
give
I'm
me
saying
that?
is, well, ask the question again because maybe I'm misunderstanding before I answer it. Go ahead.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying I don't
Okay.
understand the why. What I'm saying is it's not productive to walk around with that mentality and then generalize a group of people and then treat them accordingly because of a bad experience with someone from that demographic. I would correct that thought process in that person because that's not healthy to
But I
walk
think that
around with.
to me that comes off as disingenuous because why do you care so much about the way a woman saying that they hate men, right? Versus talking to men about being violent and being problematic for women, right? If you really care to end it,
Because at the end of the day, there's still two people that have to come
no, they
together to
don't.
talk and interact. So I can tell men all day, hey, XYZ, be a good man. But if that woman is coming around with that mentality, you don't think that that rubs off and deters men from wanting to
No,
build
I
and
think that
interact with
any
them?
man that has done the work, like for me personally, like I said, I'm not turned off by women who say they hate men. It doesn't affect me one bit. Who fucking cares? That's my point. But when a man says they hate women, it typically results in abuse and violence to women. There's a whole wait. Point me to any act of violence against men that would be like that dude that was walking in New York punching women in the face, or the man who wrote that manifesto about hating women and got on that train and started pew-pewing women, or that, like, show me those acts of violence against men, because for me to care about what you're talking about, I need to see some real world ramifications of women hating men. If all you got is my son may feel bad about it later, I'm not convinced. I'm not putting any effort in changing their minds. I would rather focus all of my effort and energy into the reasons why women hate men and talk to men. Like, hey, the reason why they out here saying they hate us is because of X, Y, and Z. That seems more like that seems like the actual cure to the disease. You want to apply some ointment to the top of it and maybe like stop the itch for 5 minutes. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to actually cure it. The cure is men change your behavior. That's the cure. Not women stop hating men. That's not the cure. As long as men abuse women, women will hate men, right? So let's go to the source, which are men, and this system of oppression that is the patriarchy. Let's address it so that we can stop it. You don't care to stop it. You just want to tell the men not to hate women, or you want to tell the women not to hate men. That's on you, bro. But that's when it comes off as disingenuous, because it comes off as a person who doesn't really want to stop it. You really don't care if men are harmful to women. You care more about how women make you feel about men hating women, though. You care more about a woman saying they hate men than you do a man unaliving a woman at this point. That's what I'm feeling like. It's weird. I don't get it.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
Not at all.
we'll talk about it more then. Prove it.
It-
Prove it. Do it more then. Let's talk more about men hurting women and harming kids and harming other men due to their misogyny. Let's talk about that more. Let me see more of that, and then we'll circle back in 6 months, and hopefully at that point you're at a 1-to-1 ratio of you commenting on men's terrible behavior versus the bullshit that women do, and then I'll believe you more. But right now I don't believe it. I don't buy any. I think that you have a disdain for women personally, and you try to mask it in this, like, oh, I'm calling out both sides. You doing this all lives matter bullshit about men and women, and it don't fly with people who understand this stuff, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It only works on ignorant men. It will never work on educated people. I promise you.
So you think if
Yep.
I have a disdain for women,
Yep.
and I'm married to
You can have many women, sir. That's like saying some of my friends are black, and you trying to hide.
No, but if Drew's married to a man, then you said, well, that means she
I never
can't
said
hate
that.
men
I
'cause
said
has
she
them.
doesn't hate all men. I'm sure she hates most men still.
Okay, and you okay. So you're saying I have a disdain for
I think you have a
some
disdain.
women or
I think
all women?
you ask me personally. I don't think you like any woman, to be honest with you. Usually misogynistic men.
Okay, so
No,
that's
it's not the same
fucking
thing, though. No. Okay.
Yes, it is. So you say I have a disdain for all women,
Yep.
but I'm married to a woman. But hey, you can still be married to a woman and still have disdain for all women. But I'm saying I don't think you said Drew doesn't hate all men because
No,
she's
I'm
married to a
saying that
man.
Drew. No, no,
I
no, no,
mean,
no.
she gave
I
it
think
to
you're
a
misinterpreting.
man.
I'm saying that.
No,
Okay,
that's
if
the
you say
same
so, but I'll tell
thing.
you why it's different to me. Two things. A, because misogyny and misandry is not a real thing. So it does.
No, it
I'm
doesn't
trying to
matter. It's
hold on, but I'm
it's the
trying to tell you,
same
Benny.
fucking principle.
I'm not okay. Okay,
No,
Benny.
it's the
I'm not
same
in your
thing, nigga.
relationship. I'm
You
not
keep trying
Benny.
to
I'm not in your relationship.
explain.
This is what I'm trying to tell
You
you.
keep okay, but you're not in my relationship, but you sure have
Because
a
of the
lot
way
of
you
opinions
talk.
about it.
Because of what you do.
Okay, and I have a lot of opinions about Drew's relationship because of
What
the
is
way
your
she
opinion
fucking
about her
talks.
relationship? What do you think she's abusing her husband? You think she's hold on, what do you think she's doing to
No,
her husband?
I think that they're
Hold on.
scamming
Okay, so
together
you
to
don't
make
think
money.
that Drew is abusing her husband, right? Okay.
No, I personally believe that they do not believe any of the
Okay,
shit
cool.
that they
Fair
say
enough.
online.
Now, my point is, and this is what I was saying is different. When this is the whole thing, when men hate women, it usually results in the abuse of women. So if you're asking me, you put my feet to the fire, I didn't want to do this. Do I think you have a disdain for your own wife? Yes, I do. I do, personally though. And I'm not saying that because of some video you made about your wife or anything like that. I'm saying typically because of the way misogyny works, the men who are misogynistic, they have a disdain for all women. They don't separate women. Now, the disdain is it's on a scale. You have a deep disdain for a woman like Drew. You might have a little bit less of a disdain for your wife, but ultimately the women around you are going to feel the effects of your disdain. They're going to feel your neglect. They're going to feel your lack of intimacy. They're going to feel you being financially abusive. I'm not saying you are, but I'm just saying financially abusive or physically berating them, whatever the case may be, gaslighting them, lying to them, manipulating them. They are going to feel those effects, sir. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And I think that all of that shit stems from misogyny, right? All of that is rooted in misogyny. You are, to me, extremely misogynistic. It would be crazy of me to think for 1 second.
So how? Why do you
I've
think
been
I'm
telling you this
extremely
whole time,
misogynistic?
sir. You cannot. You try to act like you try to pass this off as if you actually care to make people better. But ultimately, all you're doing is running cover for dangerous men, for the men you say you don't even like, for the men you say that I'm nothing like them, but you out here, Benny. Let me ask you a question, Benny. Let me ask you a question, Benny.
What
Every
content have I put out outside of these Drew videos make you say
the video
I'm
you
a
stitched about Dana
misogynist?
Dane that I made a video about, I did that one too. One of them, I don't know. Maybe you did multiple ones, but it was one you did about Dana. You stitched Dana Dane. I can't exactly remember everything you were saying in there. I'll be honest with you, my memory ain't the best when it comes to that, but it's on my YouTube page. Yeah, the majority of the content that I've seen you make outside of your PS5 stuff and these like little random one-offs is extremely misogynistic. And I'm going to tell you right now, when I'm trying to tell you right now, when you are saying stuff like it is women are here, what is the purpose in saying women are abusive when I talk about men abusing women? What is your reason for that?
What video
Huh?
is
You
that?
just said it right now in this live.
No. I want to go to the
Hold
content
on,
that I
Benny.
make
I
that's
don't need the content when you
misogynistic.
just said it right now.
No,
I don't need content
I
when you
want
just said it out
you
your mouth right
said
now, 20 minutes ago. So that's my question to you.
what content do
I
I
already
put out
answered your
that's
question.
misogynistic?
The thing you did about I did.
No, you
I don't remember.
didn't.
Okay.
You said
Okay.
I've
This what I'll
sent a
do. This what
couple
I'll
of
do,
these
Benny.
videos.
After we get off of this live, I'll go through your page and I'll pick 3 videos and I'll comment on them and I'll tag you in it and I'll break them down for you and you can let me know if that makes sense to you. Because I can't do it right now. I'm talking to you right now. I was just talking about what you just told me though 5 minutes ago, which was you're doing this 1-to-1, like women are just as abusive as men, which is not true statistically on no level.
I
I'm
didn't say women as abusive. I'm saying that women
which is
are
why
abusive
would you say that?
also.
What is the purpose in saying that? Seriously, where did
Because the way that y'all paint women is as if men don't go through anything with women, and if they do, it's
Most of the time it is.
patriarchy's fault. As if women don't unalive men, as if women don't grape men, as if women don't unalive children, as if women don't unalive or rape young boys and young girls. Y'all act as if women don't do anything, and then when someone highlights this, you're a misogynist or you're invalidating what they say because you're doing a 1-for-1. No. If I make a video or I talk about when I've made countless videos about the female school teachers that are assaulting young boys in middle school and high school, I'm bringing awareness to the things that women are out here doing. When you blanket and act as if women aren't doing anything, you provide them cover to get away with the things that they do. And then you act as if men don't experience things when they go through or deal with women, or they're insignificant because, hey, you're a man, get over it. Patriarchy, it's your fault, misogynist. That's not fair. And when you continue to fester that type of culture, even if me as a man, if I'm developing and trying to cultivate and teach my boys this, they have to go out into the world and interact with those girls who are going to in turn then take that shit, put it on them, and they have to internalize that. So when you say, oh, I just feel like you don't care. Yes, I do care. And it does matter. Y'all act as if boys don't have emotion. You act as if they're not impacted by the things they see, hear, and experience.
I don't think that's what I mean. I know that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is a few different things. The vast majority of women don't hate men. The vast majority of women don't make content talking about hating men. The vast majority, but they do, Benny, they do. Okay, that's where we disagree. Okay, baby, 5 minutes. Here, the vast majority of men do hate women. The vast majority of men do abuse women, and the vast majority of stop, baby. And the vast majority of men oppress women, whether it be physically, emotionally, or economically, or politically, or a combination of all four. Okay, baby.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can we just put to the fact of it's to agree to disagree at this point, because that's what it is.
No,
because that's basically what it is.
Yeah. Not really, but I hate agree to disagree. It's a cop out to me. But yeah, I'm good with it. I mean, we could, yeah.
But at this point, it's just y'all keep going around and around and around. And the reason why I turned off the comments is because a lot of people are saying in like, yo, this is just going around and around and around. It's like y'all just going back and forth. It's like watching a tennis match, basically. And I get y'all both have points and y'all both have. And some people are agreeing with Benny and some people are agreeing with you. Either way go, the crowd, everybody is agreeing with one or the other with y'all. That's what I'm saying.
Like literally underestimating or underrepresenting the dangers of a woman is a form of patriarchy.
No, that's not.
Itself.
That's gaslighting. It's not, because let me ask you, Benny. Let me ask you a question. What amount?
Majority of serial unaliver women get off because
how many serial unaliver women have there been?
See, you go and you play.
It's not semantics. That's not the right word. That's not semantics. That is a legitimate question. It's not about, sir. I don't speak in absolutes and I don't dabble in small minorities. That is ignorance to me, and that is a lie. And that is literally a part of what I'm saying. There, look, Benny, seriously. What amount of violence can you attribute to women, right? In this country, we don't want to talk about the world. Just so you know, in the world, 98% of violence is attributed to men. 98%. That is almost 100%. 98% worldwide. In this country, how much violence is attributed to women? Take a guess. It ain't 98%. I'll save you. I'll spare you the the trouble of guessing. It ain't 98%. It's high though.
That's the same thing of SA allegations. They go unrepresented or misunderrepresented because we don't estimate.
That's not true. That's not how they go. But could you answer the question though? What is the amount of violence, documented or undocumented? It doesn't matter. Okay, you should. I know, but I think if you did look at this stuff, it may change your perspective. I think that's the point. It's literally a conversation. It's a lack of education going on, right? No shade, no tea. That's what I'm saying.
that majority of men are just out here
No, that's
committing
not. See,
violence
now we're talking about
against
something
women.
And
else.
what
I
about the
actually
8% of women that do the unalivement? What about those? And studies have shown that.
what? 8% of what?
I can't say it on here, and you know that, but
I don't know what you're
unaliving
asking.
multiple people, 8% of women that do it. What about that? You keep saying that, oh, women don't do
8%.
it,
Hold
women
on, wait,
don't
wait,
do it,
wait.
but women do
I
it.
didn't say that. I said when you say women, that would be women in general, right? Most serial unalivers, you just said it, are it's 8% of serial unalivers, which is proving my point. 92% are men. So why would I wait? Wait.
Yeah,
But Benny, listen to what I'm saying.
but out of that 92% is
Of
still a
men, I
small
know. You brought
demographic
them up
of
though. I'm just
men.
saying. I'm just using your example. So even in your example, it's a 92 to
Right.
it's a 92 to 8 onslaught. It's a rout. That's a blowout. Why am I even focused on that? I would rather focus on the
So,
92%.
so when
I would
we,
never bring up the 8. Benny,
so when we,
what sense does it make to bring up the 8% when we're talking about the 92?
so you would focus, so you would focus
That's
on
what
the
intelligent people
majority,
do. They
right?
focus on the
When
majority.
we start talking, and when we talk about the majority of men compared to
Yeah,
the majority of men are not
you're
committing
right. The majority
violence
of men are not
on
committing
women.
violence, but the majority of men are abusive.
The majority of men are not
They are.
abusive to women.
We are. Hold on, Benny. We
How can you
already, because
quantify
of
that?
studies. I already told you the majority of women have been abused.
What
What do you mean? It's not one study. It's a collection of studies, bro.
number? Okay, so the majority of women have been abused. Have the majority of women that have been abused
Yes,
by the
that would be the
majority of
logic. Because
men?
Benny, listen to what's happening. How would you know? Like, let's think about this logically, right? It is okay.
The only way to know is looking at the people
It
being
wouldn't.
arrested
Nope,
for
that's
those
not true.
things.
Because arrest. No, Benny, I could tell
That's
you.
the
I
only
could tell
way
you
you
why
can
that's
really
wrong,
go off.
and it would look bad for black men because black men would be the ones getting arrested for that. But does that mean black men are the ones committing the most? Like, we know why black people get arrested more than every other demographic of people, right? Because we're over policed.
Okay, and so with that logic, when police show up to a domestic situation, they're likely to arrest the man and not the woman because they
But
underestimate
Benny,
what the
that's why I
woman has
said don't
done.
get into arrest. You want to make it about arrest. I never said that.
No, I'm saying that, but you keep trying to say that women aren't
I didn't say
committing
that.
abuse against men. But in that small instance, when police show up, they're likely to arrest the man
That is,
for abuse and not the woman. So that would show up in statistics when you say
yeah.
majority of
That is
men
physical abuse
abuse
once again,
women.
and you keep going back to physical abuse only, and I keep telling you that's only one form of abuse.
So how can you quantify other
By
forms
divorce
of
rates,
abuse?
by that would be a great one. By by
You know what I'm saying? Majority of divorces are
no, it's not.
over
That's made up.
finances.
It's in the top. It's in the top like seven. It's
So what?
5 or 7. It's not number one. Number one is infidelity. First and foremost, infidelity is abuse. First and foremost, do most cheating on your spouse 100% abusive. You don't think that's abusive? You don't think cheating is abusive? By
and who
far, Benny.
cheats more, men or
Double.
women?
It is by far.
No, it's not
I
by
bet.
far. It's actually
Look it up right now.
It's actually pretty close.
Yep.
I will pull it up.
You know, there's multiple studies on this too, right? So any one you would pull up wouldn't be the right one, but it's about 20-something% for men and 30-something% for men, 20-something% for women in one study. Another study is 46% men, 21% women. I lean more towards that one. I think it's closer to about half men cheat, and
You think
close
50%
to
of
it, yeah.
men cheat? There was a study, I can't remember when it was on the news, when they said that most women have
Yeah, that was a
backup
poll
partner.
on the news. That wasn't a study. You should actually read that poll. It's interesting. It's an interesting poll. You should read the question and everything. I read it. It was a fun exercise. But yeah, the news. I mean, it's a fucking nightly news. They don't be talking about nothing.
All it is are for the most part, gonna go by poll, like who's
Well,
listening to the truth.
yeah. Well,
But anyway, The statistics from 2017 stated that 20% of men cheated compared to 13% of women. However, there has been an increase of 40% rate of increase from women infidelity.
Yeah, I believe that.
Since
I believe the more freedom women get, then the safer women get, the more they'll cheat. I don't think it'll ever reach men's the level of men cheating because of society. But yeah, definitely.
That's only 20%.
But that's not. But that's Benny. That's one. That's what I'm saying. That's one study from 7 years ago. I do this every day. I didn't have to look it up. I already told you. There's multiple studies on this. I'm telling you that it.
And that's physical cheating. That's not considering emotional cheating. They told that more women emotionally cheat.
I 100,000% know that that's not true. Yeah, we can just use logic on that one. 1,000%, that's not true.
All right, bro. Everything I fucking you can't. I've conceded some things. You can't concede not one fucking thing. That's the disingenuous part of it.
That's
women
not true.
Can do no fucking wrong. We can't have an honest conversation. You can't even. I'm looking at the numbers right now, and then every time I show something, that's not true because I don't believe
but
that.
Benny, is it? Hold on, Benny.
What are we doing here, bro?
I got you. I'm gonna help you out. I'm trying to hold on.
You couldn't even because you couldn't even acknowledge that
she didn't.
Drew said she hate all men. You can't acknowledge that women are out here emotionally cheating.
I won't acknowledge that.
You can't admit that
I can.
not doing anything. So
that's not true.
No
I think that, and that's what you guys normally like to do, and that's called a straw man argument. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we're comparing, do women cheat more than men? I didn't say women don't ever cheat. They cheat. I didn't say Drew said that she hated men. She doesn't hate men now.
No, you said majority of majority of
no,
men
I said
cheat
more men cheat than women. Yeah, I think it's like double. And that's what I'm saying. Okay, you don't think that, but I'm telling you there are. That is you, sir. You just did a cursory Google search in 5 seconds. If I do that and I show you something that says something different, will you believe those numbers? Because I'll do it right now, if that's what it takes. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like I do this. Like I didn't need to do a cursory Google search because I've done this 1,000 times. There are multiple studies done on this. Hold on, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. There's a bunch. There's like 5 or 6 of these things right now. This is why I don't like doing this shit on live because it's goofy.
As long as it says .edu, .org, .gov.
Well, does your thing say .edu? Let's see.
Yes, it is. It is couplesacademy.org.
Okay, that doesn't make it legitimate, but okay. .org and .gov. I mean, I just was wondering what the actual, what the actual like site was, but yeah, I got you. Oh, also, this is for married men specifically, by the way. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Yes. Yeah, but that's what I'm. Okay, I'm sorry. So this is for married men specifically, but we know that single men. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't think that would change the numbers? Like if you just accounted for all men, you still think it's 20 to 13 unmarried men?
All we can do is go off married people.
Well, fuck it. I'll take your numbers from that because I really don't feel like doing this. But I'll do a video on it because I have been meaning to do it again. But I'll do a video on it. I'll tag you in it. You can say, or I'll send it to you or something like that. But but men cheat more than women, and the number one reason for divorces is infidelity. Right? That's number one. Even when you talk about finances, you're married, I'm married. You know how the conversation goes around finances. It's usually rooted in something else. It's not like the man ain't making enough money, so the woman's leaving, which that's what a lot of misogynistic men like to believe. It's not that. if you actually get into like the nuts and bolts of it, it's like a lack of communication. It's a lack of like it's a difference of like where, like, I'll be 100% transparent here. Me and my wife used to argue about how the money was spent, right? So I'm more of a spender. I like to buy clothes. I like to buy shoes and shit like that. I'm like you. I got my little things, right? And my wife would be like, we need to stop spending so much money on stuff like that. And I'll be like, well, why? Da, 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 da. And then she was like, cool. We came to an agreement though, finally, right? Thank goodness I was willing to listen, because I think she would have left me. But we came to an agreement that I had a budget. My budget was $500 a month. I could spend $500 a month on extracurricular shit, clothes, tickets, whatever, movie, whatever the fuck I wanted to do, right? And that was my budget. You know what I'm saying? And we figured that budget out about 3 years ago. For me, that worked. That's how, you know what I'm saying? For a lot of men, that never happens. A lot of people just keep going, well, this is how I'm going to spend my money, and they argue over money, and then they say, oh, it's finances, but really it was because of a lack of communication. Really, it was because you weren't willing to listen, right?
Well, when they state that finances is the main reason, finances by what they determine causes divorce is higher rates of poverty increase divorce. So it is about how much.
Yeah, that plays, but that matters how you spend the money too, though. That's what I'm saying. If you make less money and then there's a person in the relationship spending the money frivolously, and they spending the money on weed and video games and Jordan, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, and you already in poverty, yep, that'll do it. But if two motherfuckers is in poverty, but they, you know what I'm saying, they doing everything they need to do, it ain't like people in poverty can't work out issues, even financial ones. You see what I'm saying? Usually people in poverty are less educated. There's a bunch of indicators. There's a bunch of other things.
Well, I was just talking about when they say divorce rates due to finances, it is because you're not making enough money, because higher rates of poverty equate.
I know, but what?
Higher rates of divorce.
Not making enough money to do what? You make less money when you get divorced. That's my point. So it's obviously not just y'all not making enough money. Let's get divorced. What is the reason for it, right? If two people are together and they're both in the house and they're both in poverty, right? If the man leaves, the woman loses. In every divorce, women lose more than men, but both of them lose. So even so.
What I mean, yes, but I guess if you're in poverty and you're not making money and you're not gonna really agree on other things as far as the relationship.
Exactly. That's what I'm. So it's a lack of communication. And communication is key in a relationship. And one of the key components of communication is education, right? Having the right language, having the verbiage to express yourself. A lot of people I've seen personally, they have disagreements with their spouses and significant others, and they just don't know how to verbalize it. They don't know how to say it. You know what I'm saying? They don't got the right words for it. And I'll help them. My wife is a psychologist, so she'll talk to people, so like our friends. I'm saying we'll talk to them, be like, yeah, you got to talk like this. One of the things that has elevated my communication is me talking to my wife all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like me communicating with her has made me better at communicating these issues with other people and talking about this stuff with other people. So I could only imagine if you're in a relationship with two or undereducated people, how that's going to play a role in that. It ain't just like, I ain't got enough money, let's get divorced. That's my point. So even in there, there's a bunch of other things. Now we can get to how that's connected to misogyny if you would like, but most of that shit is connected to the patriarchy and capitalism, to be honest, which is rooted in the patriarchy. All of it's rooted in the patriarchy. Racism is rooted in the patriarchy. Capitalism is rooted in the patriarchy. The patriarchy is the granddaddy of them all, right?
I'm not gonna argue. That's I've never argued against the ups or the benefits or the benefits or the disadvantages of patriarchy.
No, I understand. Yeah.
Patriarchy can oppress
it does.
Men and
it oppresses us both, yeah.
And that goes to the point I was making earlier, when the patriarchal expectation of a man having to step in when they see another man doing something with a woman, when they have their own woman.
But that's not, if the patriarchy taught men to step in, then more men would step in. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why it doesn't make sense.
No, but I'm saying
not more than women. Listen to what I'm saying. If it is a patriarchal duty of men to step in and protect women, then why don't more men step in and protect women? See what I'm saying? The patriarchy actually teaches men to not step in and help women. That the only women you protect are the women that serve a purpose to you, right? So that's why everybody says, my mama, I gotta protect my mama, my daughter, my wife, the women in my life. So if they're not doing something for you, or you don't have some type of connection to them, then why would you protect them? Because the patriarchy dehumanizes everybody. And it really works on men. It really fucks with our brains. That's my point. So so as a man, you as a person, fuck as a man, as a person, you should protect people because you want to be protected, right? And the number one form of protection for men and women is to leave other people the fuck alone. The second form of protection would be if a person is trying to harm a person, to intervene in some way, shape, or form. It don't gotta be, hey, jump in front of a bullet for a stranger. Nobody is expecting that. If somebody pulls out a pew pew, you run and hide, right? I'm not asking you to be Superman. I don't think 99% of women would ask you to be Superman. But if a man is about to physically accost a woman, I think it is rational and plausible for a man to step up and go, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Hey man, stop that. Because more than likely he ain't gonna turn that shit on you, because you know men are scary. You know men don't like to confront other men. Oh, okay. Especially a man hitting a woman, Benny. Men who hit women, especially a man hitting a woman, he more than likely gonna be scary for a man. Hey, what you doing, man? Pull out your camera. Do something.
These dude, that scary dude.
They do. Scary niggas shoot. You ain't lying. You ain't lying.
Again, I'm not arguing against the benefit. I have never argued against the patriarchy. My thing is, what I say, women can't sit here and try to dismantle the patriarchy, but then in the back end want to put their big toe.
In what way? How do they do that?
So in regards to relationships, right? If you don't like the patriarchy, you don't want the disadvantages that come with the patriarchy, but in a relationship you want to provide a man that's going to pay all the bills, take care of everything financially, which is a detriment to men from the patriarchy, that expectation of having to be a provider man and pay off the bills. So as a woman, you can't then uphold that expectation of patriarchy, saying, I want all my bills paid, because if you don't, you're not a man, and I need to mask in my divine feminine energy. So
what percentage of women don't work in their relationships, in marriages?
I mean, but what I'm saying is, I know this, and I say this all the time, and I tell men, you want to care about your woman's education. You want to care about your woman's earning potential, because as regular working class people, we need to come together to build, to move forward. And with women, most women work. Most black women that work throughout history.
So that notion of yours doesn't make sense then.
This idea, so this idea of the provider man that a lot of women display on this internet and even in real life,
that most women want a man to, and then when you say provider, do you mean pay all their bills?
Pay all their bills so they ain't got to go to work and they can sit at home and mask in their
family. That's a tough thing to say. That's a tough thing to deny. Based off what you see, based off the rhetoric and the conversations women have online and offline, can you at least acknowledge that? No, that's what, Benny, hold on. You're going to be mad. Most women are not looking for a man to pay all their bills. That's just reality.
What?
Yeah.
Are you? Okay. You right. Let me not say nothing, Benny. Nope. Where do you live? I
live in Long Beach, California.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I met my wife when I was 23 years old, and I've been with her ever since.
If you lined up 100 women and you asked them if you had the opportunity to sit at home while your man went out and made all the money and pay all the bills,
Benny, hold on, Benny. 95%. If I asked you, do you want that new Lamborghini SUV? You would say yeah, right? Like,
but what I'm saying, you're saying
that's not what I'm saying. You saying somebody wants something to me. Let me tell you why I'm not agreeing to it. You're acting as if women actually have that standard for the men that they're with. There's a difference between saying I want to rest in my femininity. Like, I would love that. My wife would too. My wife work. My wife has a master's degree and she works right now. And she told me a month ago, if I make $350,000 a year, she will quit her job, right? And I said, okay, cool, right? Now, I said, bet, run it up, right? That does not mean that my wife has an expectation of me to make $350,000 a year. Those are two completely different arguments. And the way you're framing it is as if women actually have a standard for men where they're going, I will not date a man if he doesn't make or he cannot pay all of my bills. And I'm saying that that's a lie. That
and there are plenty of women who get on here and say,
but Benny, are we going?
I've had women.
I got you, but listen to what I'm saying, Benny. Can we talk about in real life? 70% of married women work. 25% of married men are the bread earners, and 16% of married women are the bread earners. So it ain't even that much of a difference. Women let men rest in their femininity too. You see what I'm saying? The vast majority of women are working, bro. Like, let's be so so 25% of men are the bread earners, breadwinners, right? So they make the vast majority of the money in the relationship. 16% of women make the vast majority of money in the relationship. 29% of women make the same amount or make the same amount, or more than, you know what I'm saying? They may not be the breadwinners, but they make the same amount or more than. So 45% of women make the same amount or more money than their men. That's what I'm saying. And 70% of women overall work, whether they're the breadwinner or not. 70% of women overall work. Now, being a breadwinner is something completely different, because my wife, if she kept her job, right, and I made $1 million a year, I'm still the breadwinner technically, but my wife makes $140,000 a year. See what I'm saying? So she still makes a lot of money. It doesn't mean that the woman that makes 70% that they work less hours or anything like that. It's just the money, right? So if you marry a woman that works at Target and you are in the military and you make six figures in the military and she make $50,000 a year, you're the breadwinner. You make 100% her income. But she still got to work 40 hours a week just like you. See what I'm saying? So it ain't always about the actual dollars to me. It's about the time. If you're not allowing that woman, you don't make enough woman to allow that woman to sit at home, then who gives a fuck if you make more money than her? That's nothing to brag about, right? Y'all both working 40 hours a week. That's all I care about. Is because labor is labor is labor, right? So my point is, you cannot sit up here and say that most women, quote unquote, want. And when I say want, I'm saying they have a standard for their man. They will not be with the man unless he can financially support her to 100% or be the breadwinner, right? The vast majority of women are not looking for that in men. And the numbers say that because the vast majority of people are married to people within their same socioeconomic class. So the numbers say you're wrong. Fuck TikTok.
Oh, so you're going by marriage numbers, right? But earlier when we start talking about,
we can talk about dating too. You think women?
Okay, so in the dating market, I'm sure there are plenty of men in the comments who will agree, and plenty of women who might disagree. But how many women do we hear all the time say, "I need my man
make more money than you and be a breadwinner" are two completely different things. If she makes $55,000 and you make $65,000, you make more money than her, right? You're not the breadwinner. You only make $10,000 more than her. Words matter, right? Ideas matter. Concepts matter. Yes, Benny, the average man makes more money than the average woman, right? Okay.
Yep.
For a woman to say she wants her man to make more money than her, essentially all she's saying is I want an average man because I'm an average woman. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? I don't understand. Why are we trying to act like that's them dipping their toe in patriarchy?
You must not have been to Miami.
Ma'am, I'm sorry. That's pointless.
No, like
I live in LA. I live in LA.
Which is worse.
I know.
That's how the women here are. The women there are worse.
They're not.
So what are you talking about? I have friends in LA and they say they wish they had a man that could take care of them because of how expensive it is out there. What are you trying to say exactly?
Ma'am, I'm talking about the numbers.
Anybody that lives in Atlanta will tell you that.
No, they won't. The numbers will tell you that the numbers will tell you that I'm right.
You know stats lie though, right? Like
Okay.
we proven that many
Stats don't
times.
lie, ma'am. Do you
Yes,
know?
they have.
Okay.
There have been stats that
Okay.
lie. Even with
Lie.
the presidency, that's lies. So how are you
Okay.
gonna sit here and say that?
That doesn't even make sense. But I'm trying to tell you that
Wow, you
the
really are
numbers.
delusional. They're
Okay.
right.
Okay. I'm
You know what I'm
delusional.
saying?
Okay.
With
The numbers that
so
real quick, I just want to let her know that the way that they quantify these stats, the way that they got these stats, they got them from taxes. So they're not lying. That you think their people are lying on their taxes? They got them from the taxes.
What?
So when you, yeah, when you have to, they know how much money you make because the company reports how much money you make. Do y'all not under? This is what I'm saying. Before you say stuff, you should get educated on it. You shouldn't just say stuff because it sounds good or it feels good to you.
I see why. Yeah, I understand now. I get it. Oh, trust me, I get it now.
Okay. Yeah, you got it. I just would suggest that y'all go actually look up the numbers on that because the numbers will tell you. And Benny, to your point, if you want to talk about dating, most women, even in dating, and most men, even in dating, they date each other within their same socioeconomic level. Men and women, even in dating, they're not a man making $150,000 isn't dating a woman that makes $40,000 on average. I'm not saying it never happens. I'm saying on average that shit ain't happening. I'm not saying that there isn't a woman out here or a group of women out here saying I want a man to pay all of my bills and I will not be with the man unless he does. I'm not denying that either. I'm talking about the masses and not the asses. I'm saying the vast majority of women are not expecting a man to come in and pay all of her bills. And that is rooted in reality, not TikTok. And not your homegirls in Miami or my homies in LA. I'm talking about real life numbers and everybody. Look, you want to look at everybody. Is that the scenario for everybody around you, Benny? Are all your homies that are in relationships with women who make 70% less than them?
all my friends, that are majority my friends are married,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
except for about 3, and they're in the dating pool, and they share their experiences with these.
Yeah, I would tell you stop. Listen, it is. I mean, I'm gonna give you some advice. I got to go in a minute. I got to pick up my son. Good conversation. I'm gonna tell you this is my last bit of advice. Stop listening to men. They be lying and stop and get off of TikTok because TikTok is not real when it comes to this stuff. You want to study in real life and then bring it to TikTok, not take TikTok and then act like it's real life. That's what I do.
So by that notion, I would just employ you to tell your female followers the same.
They do though. my female followers are educated, and most of them are college educated. They make, you know what I mean? Like I trust them, and they put me on the game. Hey, I got a Discord. We share articles, studies. Like that's what we're doing. We're talking real shit. We ain't in there fucking talking about some TikTok video that we saw and saying like, see, this is what all women want. Like we're not doing that. That's wild to me that grown people are doing that in 2024. That you're taking anecdotal experiences and saying with things that can actually be quantified, right? I get it if we can't quantify it. I'm with you. But damn, shit that's actually documented that most people are in relationships with people that make the same amount of money as them, around the same amount of money, that's documented. I ain't got to make that up. So what am I going to go on?
No one, I agreed with the married part. We can quantify things through marriage. I disagree with the dating.
Well, that's fair.
Again, I can concede things to you. I don't
because
do the same.
Benny, I swear to God, I promise you. Hold on, Benny. I'm gonna tell you two things.
Okay.
I respect the conversation. I like that you do have we disagree. Trust me, I do this all day long. Men who think like you, and usually they crash out, and you didn't. So I'm gonna give you all due respect in that for sure, without a doubt. And you conceded some stuff. That's fine, but I did not concede for some like hubris. I just didn't concede because I don't agree with you, and I'm not gonna do it if I don't. If you say something I agree with, I will wholeheartedly go, yes, that's true. No doubt about it. I'm not playing stupid. I'm not manipulating. I'm just dead serious, right? So that's what it is. If you want me to agree with you, you just have to say something I believe in. I'm easy to convince, to be honest with you. I'm super easy to convince. You just got to make sense, and it got to be rooted in reality. But I gave you you said the 20 to 30, 13%. I said, yep, fuck it. For right now, I don't feel like looking it up. You got it. It's 20, 13%. How am I going to argue with that? You had numbers. I'm with you. That's it, right? But hey, I fucks with it. I'm a do what I said. I'm a man of my word. I'm gonna look up your videos. I'm gonna go through them. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. I'll make the clip. I'll send it to you. You could comment on it. Okay? Fair enough? All right, brother.
Yeah. Woo, boy.
I'm
I am
drained for
drained.
you, to be honest. I am drained for you. Like, honestly, oh my God, I can't. Yeah. Benny, you need to take a break from live for like a few days after all of this, because you've been on here since this morning, boo. We all have been saying it. And like, when I say so many people been hitting me up, it's crazy, because I had a comments off. So,
Yeah, thank you for that, because that
I
probably
know,
would send
and
me
I
over
did
the
that for
edge.
you. If you want, I'll turn them back on if you want me to.
I mean, you can. I'm gonna bring some people up and close this out after probably
Okay,
another
I'll turn
30
them back
minutes or
on.
so.
I'll turn them back on. Give me a minute. Let me
Uh,
do
I
it.
feel for you, bro. I saw it, boy. I see you over there aching, man. I'm sorry, Benny.
This is too much.
I don't even know if I should say anything, dog.
This is
You
too
going
much.
through it with that one right there, boy. And he was just saying stuff too, boy. He talking about his wife as a psychologist, but she only got a master's. Come on, bro. I went to school. You're not gonna be no psychologist with just a master's. You're not gonna do that. And then he was talking about, well, I read these studies and I can tell you everything about these studies. It's like what I'm sorry if I get your name wrong.
Lock.
Locke? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just numbers. His problem is he likes to interpret it the way he wants to interpret it. And then he had the disrespect to say, oh no, Benny, you're a liar. Women don't say that they want that. They do say that they want that. It's just a matter of what they
South
end up
Florida,
getting.
the women down here say it all the time. They
I
always looking
know.
for
And then
a
he gonna sit
freaking
there.
sugar daddy or somebody to take care of them. That's why I'm like, what are you talking
Right.
about? And
Right.
people
They
lie
can
on
say what they
taxes.
want all day. What they get is something different. And he actually did went there. He tried to twist it and say, Benny, you don't know what you're talking about because they end up marrying this type of guy. Yes, that's who they end up marrying. But like it's like Benny said, if you line up 100 women right now, what will they say that they want? And then he went and gave you an analogy to say, well, Benny, if you line up 100 men and say, hey, what do you want? This Lamborghini or do you want this, I don't know, Ford Escort? Usually the men gonna say the Lamborghini, even if all they want to do is sell it. So, boy, he just be lying. Oh my God. And just talk 100 miles a minute. Every time you tried to talk, Benny, he interrupted again just so he could try to make another point to make sure that you wasn't right about anything. He knew he was about to fall on that, bro. So, Benny, I apologize for you. I'm sorry. I feel for you, brother.
So one of the things I will say, Benny, is I'm sorry in the simple fact that when you have these type of conversations, that what they call it filibusters, right? I did a live with him one time. I actually work in behavioral therapy. I actually have family. That's all we do is work with me. Have a whole nonprofit, do all this stuff, right? And a lot of times when you hear people talk like that, you got to look at why they're there. And I'm gonna just do this, and I hope you hear what I'm saying. Don't think I'm being mean. I'm just being honest. What happens is somebody has a large following. They get on a live with a person who has an opposing view. And when they get on the live with the person who has an opposing view, they say a lot of stuff that helps them to sound good. And they tickle people's ears and say what people want to hear that follow them. And then they watch their numbers go up. And as the numbers go up, they get their money up. Yeah. And the whole time they filibuster, they cut you off, they say what they got to say, and they make it sound a certain way. And then what happens is you as a black man who's trying to have a healthy balance of saying that both people have a struggle, they ignore what you're saying. And then they get frustrated with you, and then they start saying you're wrong, and then they attack you and do all that. And then he'll say stuff like, well, if you ask anybody normal, we don't know everybody. See, this is the part that blows my mind. You can have a stat, but you don't know everybody. You don't hang with everybody. You can't be in other people's houses. There are different reasons. Right now, we got about 4 men on here. We all have different views and values on how marriage works. We have different views and values on how a woman should govern themselves. The problem is that you have a man who's arrogant enough, who actually has a past that is abusive, which is mind blowing to me. You heard what I said?
Hold on, wait, what?
I ain't mixing words.
That's indeed.
Yeah, I ain't mixing words. So you have a person saying these.
Hold on. You said he has a.
Yeah, and then they'll get on this app and then they'll try to tell you how you need to govern yourself when they never even done that. or they get on here and they demonstrate to other people.
Hold on, you first.
Well, he's
You
doing it
can't
now.
gloss it. So what? He has a past.
He's governing himself now.
Telling people that they need to not be a certain way is the same way when they was younger. They have a past just like everybody else. So my problem with that is that you come across and you crucify men and say men are terrible when you got a past of your own. We all got past. I'm not saying everybody was physical. I'm saying for somebody who actually did make mistakes to get on this app and be very critical of other men is very hypocritical.
So he's admitted to abusing women. Like what type of abuse?
I believe physical, James, physical or verbal with his wife that
I know
he's
he said
with right
verbal.
now.
The physical part is his part. He never tells you exactly what it is.
Yeah, he'll never tell you. Sorry, James, how you doing, brother? He'll never tell you that like he'll never tell you about his own personal shit unless he like slips it into his own personal life. Like, but he will always try to project project his shit upon the man that he's targeting to make him seem like he's a better person.
Okay, so but that's the thing. So he tried to project onto me that all men abuse women. So if he cheated on his wife, I've never cheated on my wife. I don't abuse my wife. I don't cheat on my wife. I don't do that. So basically, so now because this shit done piss me off.
But I think
this man, y'all listen to a
you ask.
motherfucker that he's literally the Medusa nigga. He told y'all I've been abusing, bro. But ladies, for all the women in my comments, W Pub. That nigga got his Cash App in his bio. He got his Cash App when he go live. He got a Cash App on his background. But y'all don't think that man...
He literally stated, and I quote, cheating is abuse.
For everybody got something to say about me. Do you see a Cash App? Do I ever tell y'all to donate and send? No. It's some fucking games and some Dragon Ball Z statues. But y'all women can't even see that. You got a man that was over here cheating or whatever the case may be, whatever he was doing.
Just ask him. I think most of the time he does admit to it. So for everybody who's saying cap, everybody who's saying we lying and all this stuff like that, go ask him.
No,
because he does admit to it from time to time.
These are his own words. My problem
exactly. James is not lying. So, but hey, if y'all believe we lying, go ask. Let's stop with the BS. Just go ask.
The problem with the conversation is, why are you making it seem like every man has an abuse, and then make it seem like women never have an abuse?
No, but their abuse doesn't matter because patriarchy.
He was just being a
master. Is that your
grifter.
opinion, or is that you just repeating what he said?
No, I'm saying if a man has an abuse in his life, right, and he's an abuser, right? If he cheats, then if a woman cheats, he's an abuser, right? It's just like if we say the numbers, if 1 out of 4 women, right, 1 out of 4 women have been physically abused, right? And it's 1 out of 6 young men have been physically abused. Why are we arguing 2? Like make it make sense to me. Why are we arguing 2? Why are we not the fact of saying that all people are abused in some situations, and we need to figure out how we as a community can be better at how we love each other and how we take care of our kids and how we take care of each other as spouses. So because you have to look at the conversation, forget all the other stuff, just look at the conversation. The conversation was primarily about talking about all the flaws of men. It didn't talk about the flaws of women. It didn't talk about solutions or how family work. It just talked about the flaws of men. Here's my problem with that conversation. As somebody who actually works in that field, one of the things that people don't talk about enough is it's a family cycle. If you have a young man who's an abusive to a woman, he was abused by his mother or abused by another man. If you have a woman who's an abuser, she was abused by a man or abused by somebody in her family, because most of the abuses are in our homes. So my problem, the conversation is that the problem is that we're not teaching how do we walk out of abuse and love each other and be safe. Like the kids that
Well, and that's what I keep speaking to. But then he says, "Oh, well, we shouldn't care about we don't care about the women." But you should. They're a part of this two-way community. See, again, I speak to solutions of us coming together, whereas they just like, "Oh, just men fix yourself." Well, it's a two-sided coin. I can fix myself all day, but if you're not willing to come to the table and understand that I fix myself, then what's the point of fucking fixing myself? And that's what I kept saying about the little boys that he said we shouldn't care about. If I'm teaching my child, my boys, to be good men and all this extra shit, but the women are coming out and they're not giving them that grace and understanding, that's gonna deter the young boys from even trying. It's the same way as if my young boy is growing up in a house and all I'm doing is telling him, oh, you ain't gonna be good enough to do nothing but be a basketball player. You ain't gonna amount to be nothing. And then he internalizes that and he turns out to not be nothing. Does that not impact the little boy?
Dude.
That's all I'm saying.
Look at his kennel in the comments. Now all of a sudden it's all tomatoes. This is all they do, Benny. This is all they do. I really wish, I'm not gonna say it's your fault or whatever, but I really wish I was up here sooner to expose him for the fake bullshit that he is. Because this slippery mental gymnastics shit is all he does all the time. Every time he gets into it with somebody else, some other content creator, and then on top of that, he wants to sit up here and say, "Oh well, what are you talking about?" Because you saw how at the beginning he was like, "What are you talking about? I didn't say that," or whatever. He like a little ass girl.
Well, you see when I showed him that shit about my wife, right? And he had that assumption about my wife, and he was like, "Well, that's what I saw. That's what I think." I'm like, so why are y'all saying that I attacked Drew because I disrespected her husband? I'm attacking her for calling out what I'm observing. Because if you was in my face, you wouldn't say those things. You saying my wife chose poorly or she chose wrong. So you challenging my wife's decision making. You're speaking directly about my wife. I never did that for her. So if I was in person, I would punch you in your shit.
Did he ever stay on topic about the original thing? Did he ever stay on topic about the original insult? Nope.
No, he said, he was like, well, that's what I think. That's what I see. And I'm like, so if that's the case, and I think and I see that about Drew, why is you saying something about my wife just an observation, and me saying something about what I'm looking at with Drew and her fiance an attack?
So that's cherry picking. What is his education like for real? Because he just takes stats, maybe stats that he gets from his wife, and that's what he loves to do. He loves to give his interpretive opinion about those stats. It's cherry picking and then gaslighting on his opinion. I mean, he had the nerve to really say, man, no, women really don't want that. Really? Because I got on real late, so I really don't know everything of all of what he said, but I've been on.
All he does is hear your question.
And he's pimping those women. I'm sorry, he is. But
yeah, he takes your position, be facetious about it. Then he loads how he perceives you. Then he hits with a statistic, and then he hits you with a loaded question. That was how he hit almost everything you talked about. He's just master gripping.
I was saying, but brother can't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't even concede when I'm right, or when I make a valid point, it can't even be conceded that, like, okay, I see what you, like, not one time did he do that. And if we can't, and he tried to paint it as, oh, well, I don't agree because you're wrong. No, you cannot sit there and decide to not make valid points the entire discussion. You cannot sit with a straight face and say that. But every time I made a rebuttal or a valid point, it was something else. Why that point is invalid. Or, well, why do you care? Like, nigga, I'm telling you why I care.
He cares about making money. The problem that I have in the conversation is, Benny, you said about Drew or follow is a basic conversation. If all of us as men hang together, right, we all go out all the time. And I'm sitting up here talking about how women are trash all the time. Then I pop out and show out with a girlfriend. You ain't gonna look at me like I'm crazy? Come on, bruh. That's the problem that I have with this conversation. We're trying to make this thing seem like this is not a reality. And what happens is we just need to tell the truth. You could get on social media and make a lot of money dogging the opposite sex and at the same time have a relationship because you're here to make money. So if that's the case, then just be honest about the fact that you're here to make money. But don't make it seem like everybody is trying to tear each other down when we know in the real world, everybody wants to have a solid relationship. You know what I'm saying? And there's misandry and misogyny. And then when you get on this app, we have to hold each other accountable. Because
I mean, look how the women
the
acting
old
in
boy
my comments.
said,
And it's funny seeing all the black women sit there and go rah for that nigga. He ain't even married to none of y'all black asses. He married to a whole fucking Asian or white woman.
But then old boy said, "Don't trust men. All men are liars." Then what the hell is he?
That's crazy. It's funny. That boy ain't even married to no black woman, and y'all capping for that nigga.
I just don't
That's
understand
funny.
why we got to be. I don't understand how you could be so one-sided to the point that it takes two to build a relationship.
Well, I already know, bro. He just gonna clip that up and he gonna make his YouTube and they gonna go donate to his cash app. It's fine. I tried. It was what it was.
Yeah.
I think
that's just, if he want his sons, his mixed sons, to go out there and get told by women, I hate you. In 20 years, when they do the study about the social media era children, the Gen Alpha or whatever, and this extreme misandry has an impact on young boys, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Because at the end of the day, I can bring my sons up and treat them all day and tell them how they gotta act, but they gotta go out and they gotta interact with fucking kids and hoodlum ass kids that these people are raising and teaching them to hate men. They're guilty till proven innocent, all that extra shit, and they gotta go and interact with those children. And you're not gonna care until it's your son, ladies. I'm telling you, you're not gonna care. Let a little girl come up to your son and tell her she hates him. When he brought her or he tried to be nice to her, all he did was want to speak to her or say good morning or hello, and she tells her, "I hate you because you're a boy." Don't be ready to go to the school and fight that little girl mama. That's all I'm gonna fucking say. When that shit happens, come back to this conversation and remember that. Because don't nobody ever give a fuck until this day.
He was talking all that stuff about patriarchy. I work in violence intervention, right? And he was saying the patriarchy teaches men not to intervene when a woman is in a problem spot, right? In those problem spots, we have more evidence from my organization that when an outside man intervenes in a fight between a DV fight, what happens? They both end up attacking that man. Well, he didn't come with that stat today, did he? He didn't come with that. And he's right. He's talking about they too cowardly because they already hitting on a woman. Yeah, we get GSWs. Those are pew S wounds that we talk about here. I can't say it because I don't know what'll get blocked. But yes, those are people who get those.
Mr. Don, real quick, all the fellas up here, please mind your words. I turn them comments off because I've had enough of the pandering and the idiocy. And those who are still in here and y'all cult leader is gone, please go. Just go. I don't even know why y'all still here. Your cult leader is gone. Please go. We don't need you. We don't want you, and we don't need you.
I'm sorry if I said something wrong, but I just had to correct that stat.
Or you can come up to the panel and speak.
No, you didn't say nothing wrong. That's an
exact. Yeah, that too.
We have it here in Georgia where we have so many people getting violent acts because a man will step in to try to protect a lady and wind up getting jumped by the victim. That's a fact.
Yeah, that happens.
My best friend works for Fulton County Police Department, and that's why I know like his stat. Like yes, the surface level stat can show some, but if the stats are underreported, he says all the time that he pulls up, and a lot of the times that he can't arrest the women is because the men will not tell on the women. And then there'll be a lot of instances where they do take the women to jail, because if they see physical harm to a man or something, and it was a DV case, they have to arrest the woman. And he was like, there'll be men that'll be like, nah, man, don't arrest her, and try to be like, nah, it was me. So you have a lot of things not even being reported because of nobody underestimating the women. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you're gonna sit here and act like women don't abuse men, but then he's like, well, why does it matter? Because the patriarchy. Like if every rebuttal is gonna be basically it's men's fault. Like you know what I'm saying? As a grown man, I can internalize that and say fuck it. But how do you tell that to little boys growing up? That's and I keep going back to that because no matter what they do, no matter what they go with women, it doesn't matter because patriarchy, a system they had nothing to do with the creation of, and they are actively trying to quote unquote go against it. And every time something happens to them, hey, bro, it's basically your victim blame. And then like, do women not understand how toxic that fucking is? You don't combat toxicity with toxicity. Do you think the civil rights movement would have worked if the civil rights movement as a whole took fucking Malcolm X's mentality? No, because we saw what happened with the Black Panthers. They took that shit the fuck out. Do you think if they would have said, we gonna respond with hatred of black people, the hatred of white people, that we would have civil rights right now? No. So to sit here and act like that same mentality with, well, hey, we gonna hate men because men hate it, like, it's, and then to continue to sit here and say majority of men hate women, like that's. But then in turn say, well, in real life, most men are not sitting here abusing fucking women. Like that shit. That's what, like, the buddy just kept talking in circles and he couldn't.
51% of men, especially in the African American men community, it's actually 54% don't even have children.
Hold on, James. Benny, you kicked Flo off the panel. He was trying to Flo. He's requesting again. He think you were upset with him or something like that. He just said, I'm like, no. He probably didn't know. He probably trying to sift through all of this drama.
Flo. I don't see nobody named Flo. Yeah, I don't see a Flo.
Hold on, I just told him to do it again. You probably can't. Like I said, I turned the comments off and they hit me up through here. These are our mutuals, the ones that always be in here. Yeah, Flood. Sorry,
Flood
I ain't got my glasses
Flo?
on. I ain't got my glasses on. I had to take my glasses off. My eyes is hurting now.
So you have now the rules have changed, right? My son is younger. I have younger brothers, right? Young men that I mentor. They don't approach women as much as they used to. They don't want to have children out of wedlock. They're not going to get locked into going on dates the way that people like them to back in the day. There's a big difference going on. And I think what happens is you have a bunch of older men like public offender or some guys who are the opposite, that they spend so much time on the negativity that there's no real solutions for young people to be able to do better. To sit here and say that men are terrible and say all men are trying to do this and all men are going to do that, and the third, we don't know every man. We only know the men that we interact with. And most of the men we interact with are not doing those things. And I think the problem is, it doesn't mean that it's not happening. The problem is that we're not having enough conversations about the solutions. So what do we need to do with our sons? Like I tell my boys all the time, don't approach a girl at a gas station. You know, while you're on a college campus, I pray that you get to hang out in the group. You get to meet somebody in the group, have the conversation there so there's somebody watching what you're doing. Hey, if you walk a girl to a dorm room at night, drop her off right there in the front where the attendants are, where the person who's doing that. Don't go up to nobody's room because you have a lot of things that can happen to you. But instead of us talking that way, what we do is say, well, you can't trust no man. All men are terrible. Then who's going to get married? And if a woman says, if another woman says that all women are terrible, then who's going to get married? And then to sit up here and say that somebody doesn't want to be taken care of, where we say we hate patriarchy, but we still want pieces of it, is confusing. You don't want me to control what you do, but you want me to pay every bill, is weird to me. That just means I'm just going to fund whatever you do. That's not a relationship. A relationship is we both make money and we put it together and we build together. And I think that's the problem that we're having. We're having such a divided conversation when it's not about love. And let's just be honest, Benny, and I'm going to get off of here. Everybody that follows this man are women who ain't wanting no man right now. They angry at the world. So, of course, they going to fight for what they want. They've been through something that has wounded them. Because a woman that has a health about her ain't talking like that. A woman who's healed from what she's been through, she still knows there's predators out there, but then she also knows there are men of purpose out there too. She's not just going to label all men. So I think that's the thing that we got to stop doing. It's like, yo, just be honest. Like, when both of my parents were addicts, I could sit up here and say parents are terrible for the rest of my life based on my experience. Or I could say, hey, my grandmother took me in. She loved me. My grandmother and grandfather showed me what it was like. That's it. We can't label everybody just for those people that hurt us personally.
And that's what I mean when I'm like, he couldn't even concede when I said that. Because I said, yo, I can understand why someone would say, if something happened to somebody, they in turn say, "Oh, I hate them because of this," or "I hate that group of people or demographic because of this." I would say, okay, I could understand. I could even empathize and sympathize with that. However, I would correct them to tell them that is not healthy or conducive to a healthy lifestyle or mentality. And I would tell them and try to tell, hey, get some therapy, heal, do what you need to do, but that's not healthy to internalize that and walk around and then project that onto strangers or people you don't know. He couldn't even say, you know what, that's a valid point. He couldn't do that. And that's where it was just a very disingenuous conversation. And again, the people, his minions, they about as worse as Drew. If those people that follow him can't even understand or admit that, and then even when I was like, so your mutual is Chad, right? And you get a gist of who he is and what he is as a person. And I'm like, okay, so if you watch and follow his content, then that means you agree with things that he does or at a core principle of what he is. Do you think a person like him would follow me if they believed I was a bigot, a misogynist, and all the labels that you placing on me? And this nigga was like, well, they'll say it was so disingenuous. Well, I follow anybody. Like, I don't follow people that I don't agree with. And when I say I can like your content or I can look at your content without following you and becoming mutuals. When I follow someone, that means, so if you don't agree with my content, why are you following me? Oh, because you wanna be able to quickly pick me up when you want to make content. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, which you got a lot of women who be following me just so they can come in my comments and troll. See, but luckily Chad had to leave. But if he was here to say and bring some balance to that, like, they would have been like, if he thought I was all those things, then these labels, these women and that dude try to throw on me. Do you think someone as intellectual as Chad, as sincere and straightforward as Chad would follow me? No, he would not. So for all the women, ask yourself this fucking question. That's all I'm gonna say, bro. Oh, Chad is still here. Well, come on, Chad, bro. I want to hear what you got to say, bro. I know that is your homeboy, but shit, I want you to give a little perspective on that entire situation real quick. Where you at? Like, I would like to know if I'm tripping or not. Like, cause that my head hurt. I'm gonna have to go get me a drink after all this.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it. I heard most of it. It became. It seemed like since the very beginning, it became not about coming to a cooperation or a mutual understanding. It was like every single thing was kind of being shot down. It kind of seemed like, yeah. I mean, like I said, me and public is cool. We mutuals, but it did kind of seem like it was kind of more of an attack a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Versus just understand it. Like, it seemed like public was a little attacking a little bit versus just taking in some of the things that you were saying. Because like I said, I meet you with both of y'all. So that's not who you are as a person. I'm an excellent judge of character. I wouldn't be following you if you were a misogynist or if you were dumb. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you understand.
Like, Buddy literally said,
No,
I
don't believe that. You can't. You're married.
What?
Like, if you had a disdain for women, if I believe that you had disdain for women, then I looked at other aspects of your life, other areas of your life, and you wasn't married, you never been in any serious relationships, you always dated 3 or 4s, and all that type of stuff, or you dated OnlyFans models and Instagram girls, then I'd be like, nah, he probably do have a disdain for women. But things don't match up. Like, I could tell you don't. Like, you have a family, you believe in the whole family unit, you believe stick around, you wasn't like all out there like that. You've said that several times in your posts and stuff like that. Like, you had discernment on who you was looking for. You were intentional when you were dating. So that doesn't make sense that you would hate women, because you saw them at least valuable enough to know that you're only going to go for a certain type. You know what I'm saying? Like you chose to only look at the value in them when you were looking for your wife. So, and then you also married a woman with kids, that already had a kid before. That kind of like goes against that whole narrative. So it's like shit has to match in order for it to make sense to me. And based on those things, you can't be a misogynist, because those are everything that misogynists don't do. Misogynists don't do none of that shit.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like if you believe that's what it sounds like. If you believe that I'm like that towards women, but I can still be married, then the same could be said for Drew.
Right.
The only difference is I'm not profiting
Right.
off
I mean,
of it.
really, all that you really did was she said two things that did not line up with each other. You addressed the two things that did not line up with each other, and she could have offered an explanation, but in her response, it came off as an attack, personal attack. She used profanity in her attack. You know what I'm saying? Like she actually attacked you. So that's the thing. You literally just called out. You said this. You said this. These two things don't match. Explain it. And she did. She couldn't.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to know if I was tripping or not. That's all.
Exactly. That's all it was. It's just like when, like I was saying earlier when I was in the live, when you decide to come out here and put yourself on the internet, you leaving a record of everything that you have said. So if people can take the things that you have said, and if they don't match up, that's what you know what I'm saying? That's what you signed up for. You got to explain that shit a little bit.
Yeah.
She got a pew pew as one of her picture. That's her picture, Benny. At the top.
Who that?
I do.
Okay. I don't think that's a good thing to have in the thing right now, Mama. Just saying. Because of, the TikTok and all. That's all.
Well, what you got to say, man?
That's a character from one of my favorite movies. Anyways, yeah. Hey guys, how's it going? Doing all right.
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm just like a little bit confused about this conversation. I'm confused a little bit because you were talking about Miss Andre and something about the Black Panthers and them being toxic. What was that?
That's not good listening skills.
Lord Jesus. Dude, this is our generation. I swear. I see why my son don't want to have no friends. I understand now, Benny. I get it now. I get why my son is like, I don't relate to children of my own age, Mom. I can't.
Hello, Nicole?
Yeah, and how old is your son?
He's 13.
Okay, interesting. So I'm going to say, one, I am a listener of public offenders. I generally understand his take. Now, I came in on the tail end because Mama was making her coins. So, but what I heard and what I'm listening to, I'm not going to hold you. I don't have, or my experience has not been that typically of a lot of women, but I sit with them in solidarity. I've learned most of what I've learned from the men in my family. They've impressed upon me more than the women in my family, but they taught me how to move. I'm a counterintelligence agent. My job is to spot you lying before you open your mouth. That's what I do. So when you're looking at behavior, it doesn't matter that some man has not abused me for me to understand that men, lots of men have abused women, and for me to not like that. I'm not giving any man a pass to say, well, he hasn't done it to me, so he wouldn't do it to me. I got 30 rounds of ammo, so he won't do it to me. But that's different. And I've been blessed to have great men. My fiance is a 3-star general. I'm not concerned about, if you hate men, no. But I do understand why some women do. And if I'm talking to them, I'm not going to say, sis, I understand they took advantage of you. You shouldn't hate them. Because guess what? She don't know you from the guy at the bus stop. She doesn't know that. So to be so personally offended because someone may not like you, that's a you problem. And you may need to talk to someone about that.
No, but that's the thing. It's not like they're saying hate.
Listen, first of all, I'm not hung up on the word hate. I get where you are hung up on the word hate.
I am.
But what I heard from the video where I came in when you replayed it back for public. So what I heard Drew say was, listen, if a woman is saying this and she says, I hate men, I'm going to tell her it's okay that you want to say that. And she said, because of her experience, she hated men until she found hers. To me, that is a transitory thing. And to sit there and lay it in stone as if to say, well, if you say you hate men, that must mean you must hate them forever. No, that's not what I heard her say. I don't really know Drew. I don't really listen to a lot of her videos. I just heard it from, I think you were on Publix, and that's how the Drew thing came up.
Well, she continues to perpetuate that narrative to her followers today, even though she's found said man and she is happy with said man and about to be married to said man.
And I understand that. But just like I said, if she's saying in solidarity to other women, I do understand why you say that. And I'm not going to stop you from saying it. I'm going to respect why you are saying that because she didn't live those women's experience the same way women haven't lived my experience.
So you stand in solidarity.
I stand in solidarity with women's experience and I validate their feelings.
No. Well, they told me earlier it's
No.
not about
I'm not talking
my
about your feelings. I said
So
their feelings.
Okay, whatever you want to say. So you stand in solidarity with spreading hate.
If you feel that women who have had bad, listen, you want to hear this? If you feel that women who have had those experiences, those unkind negative experiences, if they say, listen, at this moment, I hate men. At this moment, I'm for B. I don't want nothing to do with any man. Then I'm going to respect her decision to be able to say that. I'm not going to control her voice. I'm not going to police her mouth.
Okay. So on that same coin, if a man goes through an experience, a negative, traumatizing experience with a woman, and he then turns said, I hate women, would it be right for me to stand in solidarity with that man?
You can stand in solidarity with anyone you want, but the difference, let me see if I can get it across to you where public couldn't. The difference is me and this dude are standing at the corner waiting to cross. I say, you know what? I'm going to walk across the street anyway, whether the light is red or not. He say, I'm going to walk across the street, whether the light is red or not anyway. Generally, when I go across the street, I get hit. When he goes across the street, he doesn't get hit, generally. So more likely than not, when a man is sitting within hate for a woman, that translates to women being harmed. That's what now that personal man, listen, if you don't like women, bruh, don't like them. I'm not gonna like them for you. If you don't like them bitches, I don't like them either. But my point is, when men espouse that, they have Homeland Security, which we run in this thing now. Homeland Security are coming after those men because by those men perpetuating that and continuing to perpetuate that, it is prompting men to violence. Because the man on TikTok, because the other guy said he hate women and then he lied about, because she lied about the baby. Women are getting harmed. Men aren't getting harmed because some woman says she hates you. You're not hearing about a mod squad that's taking men out. But that's what's happening to women. That was the point.
Where's the mob squad taking women?
So you don't know about the femicide, right? You don't know that women were being punched in the face in New York? You don't know that at least 3 Olympic athletes just got killed by ex-men? You don't know about that.
Ma'am, you have to
you
say
don't know
on
about
the live.
that.
You have to say on the live. Okay.
Unalived.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you don't know about that. 3 of them.
Sorry.
All I keep hearing is fuck your feelings, man. Fuck your experiences because patriarchy.
It's like it's crazy. So I had the man who hired me. I got hired when I was 14 years old. But the man who hired me, his name was Sean. He was a white guy, great dude. Like he gave me my first opportunity in life that set me up for everything. He was a great man. But 3 years later, when I didn't work there anymore, with that Wendy's, I got robbed, and Sean had got shot. Pew pew. Sean got shot, and the thing about Sean is he was shot by 2 black men. And I had a conversation with him afterwards, and unfortunately, Sean has to now walk with a cane because of that. Sean honestly said that he has tried, but he now has a aversion to black people because of this. And he has tried not to, but he said, Chad, I don't know. I look at black people differently. What was I supposed to say? And what am I supposed to say? You know what? If you feel that way, you feel that way. Yeah. I support it. I get it. You went through a traumatic experience. You deserve to feel this way about black people. You know what I'm saying? Or am I supposed to say, that's you know what I'm saying? That's not the way it's supposed to go. That's your experience. Da. But if Sean wanted to take his feelings, his own lived experience, and get a microphone, aka social media, and because he's actually lived through the harm that black men can do, and he now walks with a cane. If he wanted to reach out to other men who may have experienced it, like, am I supposed to be okay with that?
Yeah, well, nah, because patriarchy, I guess.
Yeah, like he still battles with that. I'm telling you, this was like 15 years ago. So I'm not even sure which way which extreme he took, but it's the same thing to me.
That's what I'm saying. Like I described the other night, I was like, my partner, and his ex-wife, he was the guy that paid all the bills, built the house for, did all the things a man's supposed to do. And she was lying, running with her homegirls. That her homegirls was covering for her so they could go on trips. She would guilt him into like, well, you don't want me to be happy. You trying to stop me from hanging from my friend, blah, 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 playing on his guilt and ego. And he would literally give her the money to go on trips. And she would disguise that to go and then using his money to pay for another guy to go on trips overseas with her and her friends to Jamaica, the Bahamas, and all these different places so that she could link up with this dude. Then she got pregnant by said dude. She then comes back and tries to pin the pregnancy on my homeboy and say, this is your baby. He had his doubts, which she was like 5 months pregnant, and he went through her Flow app and he traced and did the math because he was like, bro, something ain't right. And lo and behold, it matched up with when she was going on overseas, right? And we're going on, and then she found out. Then she finally had admitted that it wasn't his baby. So now they're separated. He has to move out because she calls the police, blah, blah, blah. He has to move out and get an apartment. He then in turns finds, so that now they have to sell the house. He finds out that she done moved the man that she been cheating with inside the house because she took pictures to sell the house because she was a realtor. So she made pictures and posted the listing. And the only reason why he knew that somebody was in the house is because she took a picture of the closet and the clothes and the shoes that were in the closet were not his. But hey, I guess women don't do nothing. And if he were to say, I hate all women, he would be wrong because he can go and then enact physical violence on women because that's the difference. And and women don't do traumatic shit to men. Women don't abuse men. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's why that statistic shit he kept trying to wheel around. There are people out here, men going through shit with these women that those stats don't
And when it comes to the
represent.
yeah.
Partially because of patriarchy, ego, whatever, but it's not represented. And to sit here and invalidate the experiences and the shit that men go through with these fucking women because, well, patriarchy, you're a man, like that is
Yeah, when
that's
people
fucked
use the
up.
femicide rate, people need to like a lot of that is boiled into the emotional immaturity of men in general, not necessarily. It's the way men respond to stimuli in general. Because the only person that a man unalives more than a woman is another man. They say a man unalives a black woman, a black man unalives a black woman every 4.5 hours. True, but a black man unalives a black man every 1.5. So it isn't just the it is so the root isn't because she is a woman. The root is because men are not emotionally developed at all to respond to stimuli in a positive way that doesn't involve aggression. Men are more aggressive to other
And
men.
then when you start talking about when you start talking about the black community, they're all, you start getting into nuances and systemic things and poverty. Like it can be a lot, you know what I'm saying? So to sit here and, like you said, be painted as, oh, it's just a man thing. I mean, a woman thing
It's
because they're a
not.
woman. Like,
If it was just a woman thing, then men would unalive women specifically more than anybody else. But men unalive other men way more than they unalive other women. So it isn't just a woman thing. The thing that causes that is the root cause of the way men respond to situations, stimuli, experience, emotional.
and then And then even when I brought up that most divorces are because of poverty, finances, which are poverty, it's like, oh, well, nah, because it's like how you distribute the money. No, nigga, it's because niggas don't have no money. They're not being, they can't finance the things that they want or do, so they take it out on one another. And then they get divorced because why would I sit and listen to someone or be in a house with someone and we're both broke when I
Yeah,
can just be by myself and be broke?
the number one factor in the success of a child is the financial standing of their parents.
Right. So I said it was a very disingenuous conversation. It wasn't gonna get nowhere. Who that is?
What's up, man?
Tholo?
How you doing,
What up, bro? Hey man, I've been on here all fucking day, so I ain't gonna probably be on till probably Thursday.
Yes,
This
God.
is a long day.
Can I I just want to ask some questions or get your take on a couple of things because of what I've been listening to. So I do know that patriarchy does exist, but for example, listen to men when they say they don't want women to take advantage of them in multiple different ways. For example, financial, like when they talk about the gold digger, the user, the cheater, this and the third. Do you feel or think? I'm just asking. I just want to hear your perspective. That these types of women were created because at a period of time with black women being that black women are the most loyal. I'm talking specifically in the black community. Black women are the most loyal. I'm outside. I'm hiking. Sorry. Black women are still considered the most loyal to black men, and especially particularly during a time where, like for example, our great grandfathers or like black men during the 50s, 60s, and even so on, when black women couldn't vote, black women couldn't have jobs, couldn't have bank accounts, black men took advantage of them, like in a more distressed, in a more aggressive way, because even when Public Defender had made the comment, he said, yeah, the more that women become more free, they will basically begin to cheat more. So my question is, because we have become more free since those times, do you think that that's one of the reasons why now we do have an influx of, like, for example, the sexy red, the rise in cheating? Because you couldn't cheat back then because, for one, you probably gonna be unalive. Does that make sense? Or, for example, there was public shame, things like that. Do you think that I'm kind of leaning towards like a lot of the problems, for example, with what your homeboy dealt with, and I know men that have been through those things too, right? Like I know good guys, right? what they're doing is these women, to a degree, are more creative because being good women didn't really work. Cause did that make sense? What I'm saying? Like maybe I'm not saying it right, but my grandmother was loyal. My grandfather had other family. You kind of see what I'm saying? Or and I don't know too many other. Am I making sense when I'm asking, or I'm trying to get your take on those things? Like, do you feel like patriarchy created these women? Like, women are a response. Like the women of today that people don't that's not socially acceptable. They were birthed because it was a response. Like the Black Panther wouldn't exist if racism didn't exist. Does that make sense?
So you saying that what you see, like women's behavior and stuff now, is a response to being, like our some, not my grandmother, but some people's grandmothers, being with a man and he done had a family over yonder type shit. So they responded by being like free women today.
Yeah, like okay, some of the men in my family, they they're not shamed for cheating. Do you kind of see what I'm saying? I want to talk about specifically men that I know, and specifically men in my family and that I know. I have never, ever, you and a few other guys are one of the only ones that don't cheat, that's married, and that actually, don't think that it's cool, right? Not saying that there are other men outside of y'all. I'm saying it's not like a shameful thing. It's cool. Do you kind of see what I'm saying? To dog your woman out, right? But the woman not supposed to do that, right? Because she's going to be shamed for that even by other women.
So you saying like it's overcorrection?
I know what you're saying too. I get it.
Do you kind of see what I'm saying? So what like for example, let's look at like Miami, like Miami or some of the the gold digger women, like the women that go after basketball players or for example, or men that have a lot of money, right? So because there were women and still are, like for example, Black women, they were loyal to Black men during a period of time when even Black men were being oppressed and didn't have money. You know what I'm saying? They didn't make as much as white men.
Right, I get what you mean. So,
I'm not articulating it as well as maybe I
yeah, I
should
get
be,
what you
but
mean. It seems like Benny. She's saying that in the adult space which is true. We all understand that basically women are a response to the men. That's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? When men, basically women like what the boys are. They respond to what the boys are. Your girl can be in the hood. She don't like hood boys. You take her to college, all of a sudden she like boys in the frat. You know what I'm saying? Women respond to the men. So just like that, misandry is a response to misogyny. True, we get that. And I think that is always been understood and accepted. But I guess Benny's point has always been, these grown-up conversations that we are having are affecting the kids. How are the grown-up conversations that we're having in public spaces affecting kids? Because again, grown-ups, they're going to let their own trauma be guided. They're going to base their entire lives on their own trauma and their own story, and you can't change their mind. But as far as kids go, kids have not experienced some of these traumas. And for the kids who have not experienced these traumas, they're going to take on these beliefs and personas that are formed from trauma that they didn't even have. And then they're going to move forward as if they have expected, like we can already see it now. How many people have all these opinions based on other people's experience? Like, you ain't even been through that, but you want to say this and this and this. You ain't ever even had that happen to you, but you so opinionated. Da 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 da. So it's kind of like that. I think that's what Benny's point is. Like, how are the grown-up conversations that we have that kids can now overhear? Because before, kids had to go into the other room when grown folks talked. With the internet, it ain't like that no more. Kids can hear what grown folks say all the time. And unfortunately, the experience of grown folks and grown-ups conversations, because we have the knowledge and awareness to understand that this shit is nuanced and it's specific and this and that, but kids don't. They're going to take it as this is the way that it is, and they're going to form their opinions and modify their behaviors based on experiences that they have never even experienced. And by doing so, they're going to hinder their own journey and their own process. I think that's kind of what it is.
Right. Okay. So
Hello, Benny. Can I talk?
Can you give me a moment? What's your name? Alone. Just give me one moment. I'm gonna bring it home. So basically, I lost my train of thought for a second. Okay. So all I'm saying is I'm not pushing back against like really what you're saying, Beanie. When I look at that, this is one of the reasons why I'm not a bitter person. I think when you've had things happen to you, I think it shows up differently because we're all different, right? Like some people they pull away, some people they act out. You know what I mean? Like people respond to traumas because I don't know any women that has not had bad experiences, right, with men specifically, right? I don't know anyone. When you have conversation with them, you do hear about how they have been mistreated. But this is where I'm definitely with you on this point when it comes to the kids because Chad is right. And the thing is, you do have to be concerned about the children because they haven't had these experiences to manipulate them and to turn them into like men hating or women hating, right? This is where the responsibility of Drew comes in. You have to govern yourself enough to not push hate because you're right. Have an issue and say, hey, this is because what you're gonna do is you're gonna shift, the pendulum gonna shift. It's gonna go from one extreme where it'll leave patriarchy and then it's going to go all the way to misandry because you kind of see what I'm saying, where misandry will be the position of power. And a lot of people they don't see that they don't think that they can happen because right now we're under the house of patriarchy. Am I making sense of what I'm saying? Because we are gaining more power as women, whether we think that we're not gaining it or not. So we kind of have to weather that storm, us as adults, to say, okay, be leery of men because we have to understand the awareness of the patriarchy house, but we have to be careful to not push hate. You just kind of see what I'm saying? Because it does affect both men and women. Patriarchy does, because we will go under the umbrella of misandry, possibly. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
You just
right. Right. So that's what I'm trying to marry the two. That's the reason why I started it with what I was saying. You know, these are responses. These women are actually responding. You know, when back in the day, our grandmothers couldn't, my mother couldn't. Does that make sense what I'm saying? They couldn't do that because they didn't have the ability to. But the more free that we get, we're starting to take on the negative things like patriarchy, and we can potentially rock it over to where we will start to do what was done to us, which is exactly what white people fear, right? Racist white people. Does that make sense?
White T, Nick, I'm dropping you.
I'm sorry,
I'm dropping
white
you.
tea.
This is
Okay,
like
bye,
the
y'all.
third
Okay.
time.
I'm sorry.
Bye. I'm dropping
Bye.
you. Yep. Bye.
Hello,
Bye. You gotta
can
get
I
off.
talk? Can I talk? Hello.
First off,
I'm
hello.
doing
How
great.
are
I'm
you?
doing great. My name is Elam. I'm calling from Togo, West Africa, a French-speaking country from West Africa. So I've been following you for a while. So I agree with Nikki, and I understand that, you know, sometimes when you have a mistake, when you make a mistake during relationships, can you understand what I'm saying? Okay, great,
Yeah.
great. So when you make a mistake for instance, if a woman makes a mistake by dating a bad man, for instance, so when you get out of that relationship, sometimes ladies don't take time. Ladies or some people don't take time to take a rest before getting into another relationship, or to analyze what happened in that relationship, what kind of men I've dated in order to avoid the same kind of men. Sometimes when you see the pattern of dating of certain people, they are dating the same type of men who are hurting them, and then they end up hating men or women because they have been dating the same type of people. If you get what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
as of me, I had a problem like that. I'm 30. I'm about to be 37. I had problem with ladies like that also. I had a heartbreak, a terrible heartbreak after heartbreak. But it came to a point that it was the same problem. I have to break the cycle because I have to take time to analyze what kind of woman I was dating. What kind of woman I was dating?
Yeah.
What kind of what is the behavioral pattern they have? Sometimes it came to a point that at the first date, when I'm discussing with the lady, I know at the first date, that this relationship is not going to last. But sometimes I get into that relationship because I don't want to be paranoid. But exactly what I thought about it at the first date, it is what happened because she gave because I got used to analyze the pattern. So whenever you get into the relationship,
Oh shit. Yo. Oh, well, he can bring back up. I think he disconnected.
I get it, Benny. I understand it, y'all. Benny's saying like you have to take the same caution with some of these conversations that we have to take the same onus of these conversations that people place on the rap community, that people place on the like on the music industry or anything like that. When you have a message. Like it's like we look at these conversations as if they don't mean nothing, but then we say, oh well, the rappers and the drill rappers and the sexy reds and all that, they can influence kids. Well, we can be just as influential by having these types of conversations as well. And the things that we say, it can be just as influential as music.
And mothers have an impact on the children because again, y'all want to go off the stats of what y'all homeboy was saying. Mothers are majority the primary caretakers of the children, especially in the Black community, since 70% of our community is raised by single mothers. So yes, mothers have an impact to play on what their children are learning and what their children are taking in and how their children are turning out because they're not led by men. You can only blame the parent that's there, not the parent that's not there.
Flo, you went yet? You said anything yet, baby?
Go ahead, Floods. Floods,
Yo, can you hear me?
You there?
Okay, thank you for having me again. And I was having headaches with you, my friend. I can tell you that right now. Because at the same time of agreeing with you to agree with him, he had too many inconsistencies when it came to like the numbers. It was like that was all he was obsessed with, was just trying to shoot you down based off the numbers instead of going from an I value or value of some sort from the real world perspective, meaning outside of the internet, outside of the numbers. So it's like, where are you getting your sources from? He told you everything number related, but could not source you anything. You sourced him one thing and he shot that down saying, oh, it's make believe, right?
Well, and then I went through, like I said, I was like, if it's from .gov, .edu, or .org, that's a credible source. Even if you've been to college, what do they say you're supposed to, when you reference an article or you cite an article or a page or a research thing, they always tell you those three things are credible sources, not .com. So for him, then he was like, oh, well, that doesn't matter. Yes, it does.
And then on top of that, he sits up here and downplays the internet. Okay, if it's not real, that means you say the people are not real. Thus, you still have a following to sit up here and listen to these people that you literally go off the digital,
He did not go with my statistic because he then in turn said, oh, well, we got to add dating to it. He did not go with my statistic. He just said, okay, we'll go with that for the sake of the argument. That's not going with my statistic. Because he still agreed that men cheat more than women, that's why he tried to add in dating.
No.
Go
Go
ahead, bro.
ahead.
My
Go ahead.
bad.
This is your platform. I'm just adding on to the inconsistencies. It's just the fact of where was he coming from with it? Because at the same time, what he was saying, men cheat. This is what really made me heated with you. Men, his words verbatim. Men cheat. It's abusive. You counterclaim that. What about women? Women cheat. It's a safe space for them to, it's a safe. Because of a safe space. It's a safe space for them to, protect themselves from men who abuse them by cheating on them.
So, right. When I said, well, so if cheating is a form of abuse and women cheat on men also, then it was like, well, I mean, but when y'all cheat, I mean, it can turn into violence. Like, as if women don't get violent when
Wait
they
a minute.
cheat.
Somebody sent me. Hold on,
Like, it
Benny.
was
Somebody
just
sent me something. He did a live. Somebody sent me something on Instagram. They said he did a live talking about women. It's okay to cheat. Something like that. I'm gonna send it to you later. They sent it to me saying that he did a whole live saying it's okay. Women cheat and they don't get caught, and it's okay. Like literally, it's set it on.
okay. You went out there.
And Nicole, you are right. That's the point that Benny was trying to make the whole time. Like literally the whole presentation of the debate was Benny's side was all men. Well, I don't want to say all. I don't want to keep throwing that word out there. Men and keyword and men and women do the same things towards one another in the same rate you want to call it, same type, whatever you call it. They both do it to one another. He shoots every last one of those down and uses the shield of patriarchy to make his point, to sit up here to counterclaim everything he says, because apparently men do it the most. If men do it the most, the thing about it is, okay, what fault or what claim has the women, did the women do to cause that? Because at the same time, women can cause and trigger emotional distress or mental instability to which can make the man literally sit up here and flash out at any given moment. Not saying that the man doesn't do the same thing for the women, but at the same time, the women have to take accountability for their actions in which they can cause the situation to escalate. That's it.
And one thing I do want to, and I mentioned this to my wife. I said, so when they talk about violence against women, right? Are we talking about violence as like random acts of violence, or are we talking, or the majority of that stat, or now I could be wrong, is it including domestic romantic relationship violence? Does anybody know? Can anybody confirm that?
Most women are victims of IPV. It
So
would
like
be domestic.
domestic
That's where a
romantic
majority of
relationship.
even the homicides come from. It's not like random men are just.
So when I say, so that was okay. I'm glad I remember that, because I believe that you kind of have to separate that, because again, it goes back to if you talk to any police officer, they'll tell you a lot of these domestic instances get reported don't get reported where the woman does something to the man, or domestic physical violence to men, because the man doesn't want to send her to jail. He doesn't want to take her away from the kids, whatever the case may be. So it goes, or the police underestimate what the woman did, so it doesn't get reported.
Benny, there was one part, brother. Let me first of all, Benny, you've been on this buff. I took the kids to school this morning. I can't.
Hey, I'm off for 2 weeks, so I
didn't win and coach a whole soccer team. I can't, but I was like, this is Benny tired, bro. He is tired. You had your face in your hands.
Well, I was waiting for Buddy all day, and he ended up coming right when I was supposed to get off at 3:30.
I don't know if you're on the counter or whatever. I was just listening a lot. I mean, there are some through lines that we have to understand. Like, if we are going to talk about, you got to. The way you have these conversations, because what I realize is this, you're a content creator, like I was a content creator, right? Where you would have conversations where you're talking about things that are occurring in real time. Like you see something that happens on the TikTok and you talk about it. You comment back and forth, whatever it is. If men are doing something weird and women are doing something weird, you're talking about it, because there's some objectivity in the things that are occurring. Because of that fact, And I'm just like you, bro. And that's how I built my following. I'm just like you. Like, when you're arguing in an eco space, when you're competing or arguing in an eco space with an individual that literally, it could be him, it could be anybody, that literally, this is what they do. This is their content, talking about these systematic things, whatever it is. You don't care as much. That is not your bag. Your bag is to talk about commentary on real things. That's why certain people talk about things and some people don't. You don't see him making videos that are cross-platform. I mean, across like just like random stuff like you do, whatever it is. It has to be a niche. It has to stay in a niche. And this just wasn't your niche, which is understandable because everybody doesn't do the same thing. But I will say this one aspect that that there's two things to be true, right? When you said up something about you talk about serial unalivers, right? And then the counteract, and your point was the serial unalivers and serial unalivers women get the least amount of time. That is true, right? Also, we can also say that it's true that the least amount of all serial unalivers, a very small fraction of them are women. Both things can be true at the exact same time. So to the answer to your question of who, like the fact that serial livers get the least amount of time did not warrant asking how many small people there are. How many, like the volume of serial unalivers. So I think, and just one more quick thing, when we're talking about abuse, and we always want to talk as if we're always talking about all forms of abuse, right? Which is egregious, right? But when we cannot say that we want to broaden it out and talk about all abuse, right? But when we want to talk about the interpersonal relationship between men and women, we only focus primarily on physical abuse because physical abuse is the tangible abuse that can be counted, which is what's in the court records, which is how you make the statistics of how someone is being abused, which will be men. But if we're talking about all abuse, emotional abuse, all the other forms of abuses, there's no way to quantify it. So there's no way to quantify it. So sitting here saying that more men do this versus more women do that, there's no way to quantify that shit because and when you equalize it on that perspective, when we broaden abuse, men abuse women, women abuse men, it's all based on interpretation. So I think you just got to find the through line in a lot of those conversations, bro, because like anybody, if we take out the physical aspect, how are we going to know that Benny's wife is abusing him? Emotionally, unless he tells us. And we already know that men, because of the patriarchy, are less apt to tell things like that because we're looked at not only by the men in our community, but also by the women. Hey, I've been emotionally abused. You just soft, nigga. You know what I mean? So we just gotta, the consistency. But yeah, you look tired, bro.
Yeah, I said I'm about to get off in a little
More
bit.
solutions. More solutions should be. I mean, I think the solutions as far as like the conversations moving forward should just be around making men emotionally stronger, making boys emotionally stronger. Because at the end of the day, if boys are raised to be emotionally stronger and we put in those tools there, then the things that women do wouldn't affect them as much. The thing is, that hurts so bad because like women have the power over men that they do because they have the power to hurt them so bad. And I don't think that women know that. But in order to combat that, we have no problem making physically stronger boys, putting them in the gym, but we never focus on making somebody emotionally stronger and mentally stronger. Where's the emotional gym? Where's the mental gym? Where's that at? And I think that would, an emotionally stronger man, because most men that resort to violence, especially DV, is because in that moment he felt like he had lost control, he had lost power, she had made him feel less than. So he overcorrected by trying to gain some type of dominance back by resorting to violence, which we all know is the wrong thing to do. But that was an emotional response because he felt damaged emotionally. You know what I'm saying? So he resorted to violence. But I think that if more men were just emotionally stronger, then those daggers, that knife that she cut with her mouth won't hit the way that it do, and you won't respond. You know what I'm saying? You won't respond out of that.
I mean, yeah. Words have power and words cut women, but I don't think the same way and this is what I mean, like it can't just be fix men and women. Like yes, we can work and we can fix on men, but if y'all aren't on the other end raising these same emotionally intelligent women to know that my words have like a woman's weapon is her words, a man's weapon is his fist. So if I'm checking the men on this side, the boys on this side with controlling their emotions to deter themselves from physical harm, but then y'all aren't checking women to stop, to not antagonize men or cut men with their words, it's counterproductive for me to teach these boys this, because you can't.
But don't you get that's the whole point?
You don't know, you play on good faith of a man having to consistently, like, he's never gonna have a bad day. So I can call him a bitch, I can emotionally abuse him, I can cut with my words and hit below the belt and throw things that he confides in me in his face, because I'm betting on the surefire that he won't physically harm me. So maybe one day he comes home and he's been disciplined for 5 years and he had a bad fucking day, and you decided to antagonize and push that man and poke that man, and he slips up and loses fucking control. Because a woman never got taught by her mother to appreciate a man, to listen and not use her words to antagonize and provoke and cut through to a man. So that's my whole point of talking, because it can't just be one-sided, while on the other end the women are just like, well, we hate you like that.
I will say
It's
this,
just
Benny. Will say this, and I'm just moving this out of the arena of conversations online, like for individuals who actually like have these conversations in real life with people who actually care about the solution.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference online. We can go back and forth and have this conversation. Like not you, but I'm just saying, like we get on these lives and talk about Messiah, whatever it is. But you're having conversations. We do these things where we have these drag out conversations and there's no solutions. And we're also having those conversations with people that have zero resource to fix any of the issues that they're talking about. They haven't done it in the community. They're not going to do it in the community. They don't have the resource to do it in the community. So we're just getting our shit off online. But here's the thing that I have struggled with. And 80% of my followers are women. So because I kind of started my journey just talking about both and trying to bridge the gap and be the middle between men and women, have conversations that with the nuance that we need to have and listen to both. Here's the thing we understand. When we only talk about harm in the sense of the gradient and the impact of it, the gradient of severity, we leave out a whole swath of harm that people can do. So if the gradient of that, if we're looking at what harm is based on how bad it shows physically or how bad it shows on that line, there's a whole group of individuals that are victimized, men and women, on a day-to-day basis. The same exact people that end up in therapy, right? Because words were said to them by their parents, by their loved ones, by their intimate partner, right? That done things that were done to them that they weren't physically hurt. But those are the things that have etched in who they are as a person and makes it hard for them to move through in and out the world. But when we only talk, let's be clear, when we are talking about abuse, even though we can have this bullshit, grandiose, emotional abuse, when we come on this line, on these lives, we are only talking about physical abuse. Nobody gives a fuck about any other abuse, because guess what? I guarantee everybody in this life has done because abuse is so blanket, has abused somebody in their life, men and women, because it is such a broad swath and is up to interpretation. Saying, giving someone, I was on live and people say, if you give your partner the silent treatment because you don't feel like talking to him today, that's abuse. It is all up to intentional, interpretation. So because of that, we can only hone in on physical abuse, and we understand that men are primarily the ones doing the physical abuse. So when we talk about abuse, we're not actually trying to heal, talk, move the goalpost, like move to a solution or anything of that nature, and understand everyone's abuse that they can endure from childhood, whatever. We're talking about physical abuse, and physical abuse links to men, and that is the conversation and the brand that we're trying to put forward. That is the narrative. You gotta be careful, bro. We got pseudo intellectuals that ain't never did a book report outside of a summer reading that hop on this internet, and all of a sudden they fucking Dr. Umar, they are Cornel West, whatever it is. So most people ain't built. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say when it comes, and especially like you said, it's people are talking about physical abuse, but the root of men's physical abuse isn't just because men are just like that. You know what I'm saying? It's because of the emotional part that kind of get hit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that emotional hurt. A lot of men's physical abuse is overcorrecting because he was hurt emotionally. And is it right? No, but that's really the root of it. And then also the one of the things also like and I know this to be true because, for example, because I had to do the work myself, and I did the work myself. Like the things, like once upon a time, like I understand the way a woman's words can hurt and all this and that. Like women are raised under patriarchy and all this and that. You know how many times women will say, "Oh, you like you always say, women use your sexuality as an insult. Black women do this and that." You know what I'm saying? Like black women use you as a derogatory. You know what I'm saying? All the time. And when a woman wants to make an insult to one of y'all, she calls you one of us. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yes,
get
Chad.
that. I get that. Right. And I say that I've done the work because even though they do all of those things, true, the things that they say don't affect me, don't hit me the same way that they hit my straight friends and stuff. Like I've done the work. Like a woman can say all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? They can say nothing a woman can say could cut me because I've done the work. A woman could try pulling every rabbit out of her hat. It don't do nothing because I already know what you're gonna come with. That's what I was kind of saying on one of my posts. Like a woman gonna hit y'all with three things: you gay, you got a little piece, or you can't smash. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no stroke game. That's it. That's pretty much it. That's how she gonna come at you. So if you prepare yourself for that, if you mentally, emotionally strong enough for that, the shit ain't gonna hit you as hard. But that come with work.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess like myself, like again, most of this violence people are speaking of comes from domestic, instances, and it'll be stuff that, like, if you were to ask most guys what happens when they, to the women that were verbally abusing them or, doing things of that nature, it was, they probably will say she used something that I confided in her against me as a weapon. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you get a lot of that, frustration from men, that because I've even told me and my wife have had that issue before, and I had to tell her, like, you don't do that. Number one, because my stepmother used to do that to me. Again, we were talking about women doing things to men. She would be, verbally, XYZ, and, bring up things or do things and throw it in my face and stuff like that. And that's
one of the things that can help with that is remember, you can't use anything against me. If I was really hurt by that, if I was embarrassed by that, I wouldn't have told you. If all your weapons that you got is because I gave to you, then that ain't no weapon. I gave you that information. How you gonna use that against me? I knew you was gonna say that. Try again.
I get that, Chad, but
That's
still,
fair.
there's a betrayal aspect to that. You know what I mean? There's a betrayal aspect. Yeah, I get
that, but
Yeah.
and then sometimes we have to also know that part of that is that actually true? For example, I had somebody confide in me that all these issues with his mama. You know what I'm saying? He had so many issues. He hated that woman, but. And then in an argument, he was displaying those same behaviors that come from that. I said, no, this comes from you want to control things because you couldn't control your mom. You wanted to control your mom. Your mama was out there sleeping around and you wanted her to stay and you can't control. So now you have an issue whenever you have to control, whenever you don't have a sense of control over something. And it was like, are you throwing it? It's not throwing it in your face if it's true. Like we have to own some of our stuff. Yeah. We have to own some of our stuff too. Like it is true. You don't want to deal with your mama issues, and that permeates into a whole bunch of different issues. So it could have been looked at like I threw it in the face, but no, it's like you need to deal with this issue, and you see how it is affecting other shit. Every time you feel like you don't have a control over something, it's like you can control your mama, you get angry.
Yeah, facts.
Who that?
What's up,
Maceo.
I'm
Yo,
not gonna
what up?
lie,
What
man.
up?
I'm kind of disappointed because you let him basically throw out a lot of nonsense and not correct it, and that's how he debates. He's going to throw something, let it stick to his base, and then run around to something else. When I came in, it was you're a misogynist, and you were saying no, I'm not. Well, okay, if I'm a misogynist, show me the video, play the clip, show me the screenshot where I said something definitively misogynistic. Where would
Well, I did. I told him that, and that's why he was like, "Well, I'm gonna go clip the videos, and I'm gonna show you that." He did say that when I did bring
right?
that
But
up.
what he wants to do is just go back and forth with that because once he says that, then his audience, oh well, Benny's misogynistic because public said so. And then he's like,
Yeah, he's gonna go find something, and I
But,
already
but
know what
Benny,
he's
here's
gonna
here's
do.
the
I'm
here's
not
the
worried
silver
about that.
bullet. This is what I had to realize. It took me a lot of arguing, going back and forth, and this is not just public, just it's in general, right? Arguing back and forth, bruh, and people intentionally misunderstanding me for their own narrative and saying that I'm this and I'm that. If someone says I'm a misogynistic, this is what I say, and I know that I'm not. There's no evidence of that. It's just that person's opinion. Be like, yes, I am. Now what? I am. I'm the most misogynistic man you've ever met in your life. Now what? Once you agree to that, the only power comes in you trying to defend your image against something someone randomly said that doesn't know you at all. When you be like, yeah, I'm a
yeah.
misogynistic now, what do we do with that now? Well, I think cool. You can keep thinking all you want, but I'm misogynistic. I have copped to who you say I am. Now where do we go from there?
No, I don't know about that.
Deflate.
You got to make him prove a point that
No,
he
no, Maceo.
didn't.
I'm just saying. No, Maceo. I'm just saying, brothers, that what happens is what we saw early in the live. It just becomes this circular situation when someone is intentionally misunderstanding you. It is nothing you are going to say to get that person back on track.
But
Nothing you're
CK,
going to say.
the whole point is not to convince him. The whole point of the conversation is for the audience.
But
So if you're going to put out a misnomer about me, you have to be able to back it up, which he could not do. He claims he follows you, so he should be able to pull something, right?
right. No, but
But he
yeah.
couldn't because
No,
if he had a clip, of you saying
Even
something like "I hate women,"
even with the
but
he
yeah,
would
even
have
the
with the
played it.
audience,
audience
the
though.
audience means. I'm gonna be honest with you, Maceo, and I hear what you're saying, but I gotta be clear with you. The audience means absolutely shit. They mean absolutely nothing, bro. Like the
Yeah,
same, especially this
especially
platform.
on this platform. You saw like she had to cut the comments off because like people in the
Listen,
audience, they don't give a damn. They're here for their man. It's like Trump supporters. There's nothing you
what?
gonna
The
say to
same people
Well,
that
them.
be
we know
talking
Like
shit
that.
about me
it,
are the same people that follow me. They'll say the
We
same
know
shit about
that.
me and follow me at the
that's
exact same time. It depends on the platform, who's talking. You cannot give a shit about what random people in the audience say because they're coming to the comments based on the book, whatever's coming in, showing you whatever's happened in their life. If they had a badass day, then they're gonna reflect that online. If they had an argument with their baby mama, they're gonna be irritated with women online. If they argue with their baby daddy, they're gonna be irritated with men online. So they're gonna show up online the way they are in real life. And I want to give you guys a news flash that I have learned 4 years on this app. I'm gonna just say it, 4 years on this app. People are fucking miserable. People are miserable on this app, bro.
yeah, I agree.
Day
I
to
said
day.
all that.
Very true.
I mean, because at the end of the day, like they literally see that Chad is in here. We can have conversations and talk and have discussion. They still like what, and he said like, I don't believe that this man is a misogynist, and they're still like, he's a misogynist,
People,
so they
yeah.
don't care. And then they be like, and then they'll be like, well, I'm here for Chad. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Listen,
Like, so it's
Benny,
just that I don't care about the
they're here
audience,
to
bro.
tell Chet, like Maceo Chet, listen, they're here to say to you what they wish they could say to the person that they want to say it in their real life.
Bro,
But they
I
never
get
get
all
to.
that. He's gonna have his audience in here that's gonna like if he said the sky is green and grass is blue, his
Yeah.
audience is going to agree with that. I'm not talking about them because they're lost anyway.
No, I'm just saying in general. Just in general.
Well,
Just in
yeah,
general.
because
Yeah.
the point of a debate is not to get the person you're debating on your side. That's not the point anyway. But I just felt like
Excuse
there was a
me.
lot of things.
Excuse me, not to cut you off, Benny. It is almost 8 o'clock. You got
Yeah, I said I'm gonna get
you got
off at
you
8,
got 10 more
man.
minutes. Let's wrap it up, fellas. We got 10 more minutes. We've been on here since I've been at work, and I started work at 8:30 this morning, and I
Yeah,
got
you
off
time
at
for you to
5.
go, man. This shit'll fuck up your energy, bro. You've been on here way too long. You gotta have like a 3 hour limit and get up out of here, man. Because
Yeah, I
these
was at
people,
work when you first started talking. I'm
yeah.
like, damn.
I didn't.
I mean, cause people come in. Like I said, I'm off for 2 weeks. I ain't got shit else to do. People come in, and then again, I was waiting on him to come, and he came,
I'm
and
gonna
then
tell you,
that was
Quitty, don't
that.
do that
So
again,
I
bro.
mean,
Don't do
it is what it is.
don't do that shit.
Nah,
Real quick, if I may ask a question, this
who
floods.
is that?
Okay, if one
Yeah,
says
what's up,
all
man?
of this about the internet, right? We don't care about each other. This is these people, and this is the internet and whatnot, right? If that's the case,
Yeah.
does that clamor to the fact of that being in real life? If you were to see that person in real life who was struggling or who was in trouble at that same need, would you still not care about that person right then and there on the spot? Or not then and there on the spot, but just like, you just so happen to see that person? How would you feel about that person, like, as you would, on the internet? Would you feel that same way on the internet as you would in person?
That's a whole. So all right, so your question makes it right. What if I don't care about people on the internet, right? Which is not my statement, not my claim, right? But if I see someone in real life and they are struggling and I can empathize with their struggle or what have you, would I help them? Is that your question?
No, I mean in a general case of like just like any type of trouble situation based off of how you might portray them on the internet. I don't care about what this person says or whatever. I don't care what happened to them. What is that also being deflected in terms of the same actions you might take in real life as to ignore them as a person, to ignoring them as a internet troll, whatever.
So you're saying if we don't like them online and they need us in real life, would we help them? It all depends on the person, bro. It all depends on like the person. If you spend most of your day invalidating the shit that I said, going back and forth, miscategorizing me and whatever. Like, I don't know. I might help you, I might not. That's how shit go. This is how it
I
go.
got a question for the women. Like, if this is for all the women in here, like, and this is kind of put a lot of stuff into perspective, but like, to the women, is there anything like and or close to, is it anything better than truly loved by a man?
Yes.
Oh shit. Half of them ain't never
I'm talking about the
experienced that,
ones
so
who have
they can't even
experienced
answer.
true, real love from a man. Is that unique? Is that something special? Is that something different? Is that something hard to replace? Exactly. They've never experienced it. I'm just reading the comments now. But like,
So what does that say about what women go through as a whole? If there are more women saying that they've never experienced that, then that possibly means that we have a bigger issue.
right. But to the women who have never experienced it, but then if you've never experienced something, then you know that the things that this person is saying is out of hurt for something that they never experienced. But the women who have experienced love from a man, like there's a lot of women, I don't know. Let me rephrase the question because I kind of asked it in a way it can be yes or no. Is there anything, does it feel good to be loved by a man? Truly, wholly loved by a man?
That's a good way to phrase it because people are trying to do an A-B situation, like
Yeah.
personal fulfillment. You can have both. You can have personal fulfillment and love in a relationship.
I'm just right. Just the like, just that. Is it? Yeah. Just like I said. Exactly. Like, so that's the thing. Y'all know. Thank you. What that say? A man's love is unmatched. Exactly. Yes. Boom.
So that said, that's what I keep speaking to in the hate men rhetoric. Is not something productive
It
to
feels
walk
wonderful.
around
Look at
with,
these comments.
because if you walk around hating men, how are you gonna find a man that loves you? If you're the core of what you're searching, like how are you gonna find a good man if you hate all
Because
men?
most of them don't believe that.
How are you gonna find a man that's willing to love
Most
you
of them
if you
don't
hate
believe
all
that. They
men?
just say it online. You know how online is.
I mean, but that
Oh,
I
okay.
want them
I
to
don't
say
say
that.
it online. My father absolutely adored me, like, and still to this day adores me. And so he taught me, what you should and should not deal with from a man. And I've always had a rose-colored glasses type of attempt to everything. I'm a romantic type of person. This may sound corny and cliche, but I've always looked at movies from the time I was old enough to date in high school to now. But for some reason, and this can go both ways, when you don't realize or you don't see the issues that caused you to not navigate the world in a loving way, you are not going to be a loving individual, whether you're a female or a male. It stems from childhood.
Exactly.
If you don't tackle those issues, you are not going to be able to love wholeheartedly.
And that goes to my point in which you can't operate in a stance of hate and then expect love. It's not how that works, because you will go into every situation in bad faith. You will go into every situation expecting the worst in a man. So that means that you will never give 100%, or you will never move in good faith with said man, but he's supposed to do that for you as if you don't have trauma, as if you are perfect, as if you are healed, when you are not as a woman. So you wonder what women wonder why they get the results that they're getting in dating when they deal with these men, is because you have these mentalities and you're moving in hatred and trauma instead of moving in good faith and giving courtesy and respect and decency to the person you claim you want to deal with.
What if you were doing those things and you still receive?
Okay, and if you do those things and then you get, and it doesn't work out and it gets hurt, at least you can say, I did what I was supposed to do in a relationship. It's the same thing I tell men. If you move in good faith, you can't control what the other person is going to do. You can't control if they're going to cheat. You can't control if they're going to, take off and run away and do these extra things. The only thing you can focus on and worry about is what you're doing. You need to move in good faith. You need to love and do everything you're supposed to do as a man or a woman in that relationship. So if things don't go right, at least you can come back and say, I did what I was supposed to do.
There are nuances when it comes to how people handle things. We're not all the same beings. That is why.
I think that would go to more self-reflection. You know what I mean? Here's the overarching conversation that they were having earlier is that we're trying to say is we can't tell men not to speak up for the things that they don't speak up for, the things and the ills that go on in their relationships, right? Because women are human, men are human. Women do fucked up shit, men do fucked up shit, right? We cannot say that men don't say anything and then when they do say something, we invalidate it, right? And then expect them to keep doing the same thing over and over again. I will be clear, just like y'all said, majority of people do not know how to love. Because guess what? They want to love that person, not in the way that person wants to be loved, but in the way that's most convenient to them. And this is being married for 15 years.
Right. That's why I'm speaking. I'm fucking married. I'm telling y'all from experience. They don't want to hear this shit. I can't control if my wife steps. I don't know what the fuck she does. Nor do I worry about it. The only thing I can do is do my part. That's it. I show up every day and do what I'm supposed to do. And if it doesn't work out, I can say at least I did what I was supposed to do and I did right by that person.
Most people do that.
That's it.
I'm not invalidating that. Most people do that. But like I said,
in 2024, I don't think people are doing that because everybody's trying to protect themselves from getting hurt. I don't think people move in the dating scene today. I don't think most people, men and women, move in good faith. I should speak from an
anecdotal standpoint. I'm actually saving myself for marriage. I'm 34 years old. You know.
No. I'm speaking in terms of not cheating or not, just moving in good faith in terms of giving that person, I guess, the benefit of the doubt and showing up in a relationship 100% to a person that you have deemed worthy of that. I'm not saying just do this for anybody. If things check out and you feel like this person, you have to move in good faith with people. You know what I'm saying? Using discernment during it, but you can't move when we start, because relationships are a risk. You can't move in, bad faith in terms of what can happen or the possibility of something bad happen. Because if you're constantly worried about the bad or what could happen, how are you going to give that person a good experience?
I think most people do move like that. I'll be honest because, well, I don't know. Like I said, I'm probably going to speak from an anecdotal sense. When you start to like a person, you're just really giddy. So 9 times out of 10, your defenses are down anyway, unless you're being disingenuous from jump. But for the most part, people that have that romantic sense of or ideology of love, most of them are moving in good faith. I can't say that they're not. And like I said, a lot of things, what you grew up around, your development as a child is very important.
Yeah, that's true.
If you saw individuals around you cheating, doing this, you're going to internalize that no matter what. Even if you think, okay, that is not what I want for myself. Sometimes if you grew up in chaos, peace is boring to you.
That's true. That's absolutely true. I mean, I think we should, as married people that have healthy relationships, I think it would be great if we would come on and kind of share like the goodness of the things that we love about our partner, not what they do for us, but we love our partner, and have that hope that, hey, this is something that can be attainable, whatever. But unfortunately, this app is not the ecosystem for that, and that's the unfortunate part.
Wait, you said? Can you repeat that?
I mean, I'll talk about it all the time over here. Today was just one of them days where that didn't happen. But I'm always talking about. Chad be here all the time. I'm always talking about how men need to move with.
Y'all was having a good convo earlier,
nature.
bro. Earlier today, you and Chad and y'all was having a good convo before, bro.
Yeah. So I mean, again, and that was my whole issue with Drew, because I'm like, she's not telling y'all how to foster okay, she did find her man. Now it's not all men. Now tell and guide women to find those type of men instead of saying.
Why would she do that when she makes money off negativity?
I mean, I get that.
It's 8:03. It's 8:03. It's 8:03. It's 8:03. It's 8:03. No.
Give him 5 more minutes.
No. It's 8:03. No. SmackDown coming on. Y'all got to go. Got to go. I know y'all got families.
I just put mine to bed.
Monday night. SmackDown don't come on Monday.
Yes, they do. Baby, USA. Don't do me. Don't do me. I know.
You're gonna be on tomorrow.
Wake me up when the Rock come back.
Football is about to come on. But I mean, I probably ain't gonna be on till about Wednesday or Thursday. So hey, I got class tomorrow, so I ain't gonna be on tomorrow. I might be back on Friday.
Somebody gonna say something about him tomorrow. He'll be back.
I mean, I'm
the
sure.
Hell you will.
I'm gonna try to be better for my.
Get in them books.
I'm gonna try to be better for my mental space, man. I mean, at the end of the day, I was doing real shit overseas in the Marine Corps. Can't nobody stress me out that bad here. That said, my wife getting on me for being on live all day, so I'm gonna take off her. Again, I mean, hey, I'm sure somebody gonna. I'm sure he gonna clip up all that and make content and all that shit. And them his minions.
And if he do that, then he probably just please don't respond. Like, there's no impact. There's no impact. There's no. You got more fun. There's no the squeeze. The juice is not worth the squeeze. There's no impact. You're not gonna gain shit from it. You're not gonna lose shit from it. It's like finding a penny on the ground.
I mean, to find out he was abusing his non-black wife, I mean, and women are still like, yes, black women specifically. That's crazy.
Bro, we not consistent at all.
It won't matter to them because at the end of the day, all they finna think about is what happened today and the fact that he kept talking over you. That's trying to make his point, and to them, you lost the argument today. All Benny on his side.
Well.
Just go donate to his cash app,
one thing that I think all men should know. One takeaway, I guess, should be that women know that, most women understand and know that there's nothing like a man's love. So that's something that is unique, special, and something that really can't be, it's not really duplicated like that. So that is the competitive advantage that men have, honestly. So you got to be able to love, because that is something that every last one of them, for the most part, they would appreciate, they love that, because they know that is different, to truly be loved. But you got to be able to do that. So that's why you have to work on yourself.
And
And
on
block
that
out
note,
influencers who tell you
Uncle Chad
otherwise.
has spoken. On that note, Uncle Chad has spoken. All right. So we will see y'all all on Friday for all who want to come back. Okay.
I
All
got
right.
baseball.
I don't know, maybe Friday, because I might be going up to Williamsburg for a little spot Bridgerton Day up there at the Colonial
Oh, hey, you
Williamsburg
got
with my
your
woman for the
papers?
weekend. So we'll see.
Freedom papers? Go up
What
to
paper? Oh, it's a resort. It's colonial.
Okay,
It's
just
a
make sure, man.
colonial
I know about
resort. Okay.
Williamsburg, guy.
No, we just gonna ride some
All right, man.
characters,
Go
go
hang
to
out
the
with your family,
spot.
man. Get that positive energy. Y'all have a good evening.
Hey man, I appreciate everybody stopping by, man. Hey, it was.
Yes, sir.
Y'all be safe out there, man.